Hello there. Welcome to the entertainment headquarters where we talk all things entertainment, movies, television, reviews, trailer reactions, and more. Welcome. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the entertainment headquarters and a very special Let's Talk Live. This is something I've done once or twice before where I've just decided to just do a random, live with a bunch of amazing guests where we talk about certain subjects. The first one we did, we talked about horror movies. The second one we did, we talked about film reboots. Now, we're heading into the end of 2024. So, due to the fact that we're heading into the end of 2024, I wanted to do something about it. So, I wanted to celebrate the films that we all have enjoyed throughout the year. And to do that, I brought on some amazing guests. I have none other than Walter Ross, aka Jedi Granville. And of course, from the Sci-Fi Society, Mr. Sci-Fi Sentry. So, gentlemen, we're heading into the end of 2024. It's been one hell of a year. A lot of good, a lot of bad, a lot of indifferences. So, obviously, we're here to talk about the films that we've enjoyed throughout the year. But before we start, I just want to point out that's my dad.
Mm,
Well, we're having a good night there. Thank you very much. And of
really big.
course, watching with us is our good friend, Mr. J. Cole. Thank you
Howdy.
for joining us today.
Yo.
So, Mr. Walter Ross, in your opinion, what's this year been like for you in terms of films?
What can I say? You guys know that I am a fellow movie lover, movie goer, and everything else. But this year has not been the best of times for me going to the theater. I mean, you have some good ones out there, but it didn't get me to rush out there to go watch some of these films out here. And then some of the films that I did go see, you guys actually mentioned to me and suggested, and I'm like, okay. And then and that's one thing, go by popular opinion, and if they say that it is pretty much worth the go out and everything to see it, that's like, okay, I respect your judgment. And 9 out of 10, it turns out to be good. But no, this year has not been the best of, in my opinion, film wise, that I've enjoyed. And personally, it's sad that it is that way because, and I'm gonna get political here. Before the inevitable pandemic, I was going to
Hmm.
the theater like maybe every week, every Saturday, everything, all that. This year, I can say it actually slowed down. I have not been going to the theater maybe once or twice, almost a month. Sometimes just recently, I just realized I hadn't been to the theater in over 4 months. That shows how it's really dropped for me. So, in my mind, the ones that really stand out, but the rest are just like, I'm not even gonna try to, compliment them. So that's me. That's my personal take on it in general for 2024.
Hmm. Sci-fi?
Well, as everyone in the Sci-Fi Society and Metal Tavern and in Entertainment Headquarters know that I've been going through a lot this year. A lot physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. But as far as that, hopefully things improve for 2025. But went to Japan, which was good. I did go to a theater, but really couldn't see or they didn't give a lot of they didn't give a lot of insight when at that theater in Japan that had any movies that I really would actually want to watch. But of course, did watch um maybe about four movies this year because I'm like Walter. I really don't go to the theater much. Every year it's been less and less, and I agree with Walter. It's like a lot of stuff going on. Life derails all. We have to rebuild the railroad, rebuild the road and stuff. But there is as far as the four movies I've seen, there has been some uh good decent films, but uh we'll get as we get deeper into the conversation. I just got to say that Hollywood's been pumping out a lot of shit movies. So that's
Yeah,
another
I was
reason
gonna
why I don't
bring
really
that up.
like to. I don't. Yeah, I don't really. I'm sorry, Dave. Kevin, I didn't mean to bring that up, but I'll just say that
No, no.
it's. I'm not a big fan of Hollywood right now, but yeah, as far as that goes, just trying to maintain, walk them dogs, represent, and that's pretty much it, man. But I'm looking forward just to talking about the movies that I've seen, and movies that we will see for 2025.
Oh, yeah. Well, you see, for me, as you know, I've had a bit of an upside down year, but I've rode it through, and hopefully 2025 is going to be a better year for all three of us and everyone in our group. Um,
Yeah.
wish them all the best, want nothing but good health, good fortune, and happy times for them all. But when it comes to cinema, a lot of people are putting a lot of blame on streaming services for the lack of people wanting to go to theatre. But I look at it this way: if you were putting out really interesting films that everyone would love to see in a theatre, then I don't think theatres would suffer. And I think the current times we're in when it comes to Hollywood, it's all reboot, it's all sequels. There's no originality anymore. In the films that are original, that are unique, that are different, they're not getting the push that they should. They're not getting the promotion that they should. Like, of course, like Mufasa, I'll take that for as an example. That's now in theatres. That was shoved down the throat as the prequel to The Lion King, and then you could have like another film that has no kind of big push, but becomes a successful sleeper hit, and it's because of word of mouth, and the word of mouth is key in a lot of films. Word of mouth can either make a film die or live. You know what I mean, in theaters. And one of the best for me word of mouth, stories, is that of John Wick. John Wick was created on a medium budget. It got like what people call the death month. Well, the 2 death months, or after Christmas, like March, and see after August, September. People don't like to release the bigger movies during them times because people, one, don't have any money because it's after Christmas, or people don't have any money because it's after summer, after vacation time, especially if you've got kids and families. And so John Wick, I think, was released like around the March time of that year, came out. And because of word of mouth, because of the great feedback, of the great action, the great performances, it became a mega hit. And what happened after that? Once you get a mega hit, the studio's like, it's making shit tons of money, let's rev this up, and a franchise was born.
Mm-hmm.
And you get studios like Disney who have already successful franchises or well-known titles, instead of just leaving them alone in the memory of the fans, decide to reboot them, or do a reimagining of them, or turn it from animation to live action, and it's soulless.
Yeah.
AKA
And
Snow White.
Beauty and the Beast,
Yeah.
fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
my one of my good friends, Jill, we've been friends for 30 odd years. She's a Disney fan, but only of like the classics, the originals from when we're childhood. We actually went to see the Beauty and the Beast live action when it came out as like a thing. All right, we went to see it as kids. Let's do it as adults. It's like like for nostalgia reasons. We walked out of that theatre both shaking my head. Why did they have to do that? Why did they have to add this to the story? Why is it bullshit, basically?
Yeah.
And don't forget that the way Hollywood works nowadays, it's all about the wokeism. It's all about saying, "Oh, let's change the gender, let's change the race." Like, can we not go there? I mean, just let what you if you're gonna remake something, just let what was be. But it's like they can't do that. It's totally like ingrained in their brains to say we got to go with the masses in terms of this person that was white has to be black. This person that was male has to be female. Like, okay, granted, but is the story still worth watching? Be doing all
Well, I look at it like this. I think they're lazy creative. And this is what I mean. Like, you want a black superhero, you want an Asian superhero, you want a female who is, empowerment movie. Create an original story. Create a new superhero who's black, Asian. Why do you have to take something and reinvent it and put it out to the world? But if you're going to do it properly. But you see half these films and they're soulless. There's no imagination behind them, like The Little Mermaid. For me, I thought the actress that played Ariel did a fantastic job. She was black, amazing. I thought she had an amazing voice. She carried the role well. What disappointed me was Melissa McCarthy as the Sea Witch. I thought she was shit.
Mm.
I thought she
Yeah.
was garbage. I didn't think she was the right person for that role. They should have given it to someone like Bette Midler, who's got personality, who could have just went out there with like over the top craziness. But anyway, that's a story for
Yeah.
another time. Since we're here to talk about films we've enjoyed of 2024, let's start off with a one. I think we've all seen this one. I think we've seen this one, all of it. This is one of the newer films that came out this year, and I was pleasantly surprised with it. I have a review of this film on my channel, so does Mr. Walter Ross. So let's talk about Gladiator 2.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what's your opinions? Like we didn't really need a sequel, but we got a sequel. And Ridley Scott, I think it's probably his best film he's done in quite some time. But
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I
I'll,
was just gonna.
I'll let.
I personally think it is because I'll prefer this to these Alien sequels. Sorry, prequels. You know,
Yeah.
Prometheus was great. I thought that was good. Covenant was shit. And I think because he wasn't given the opportunity to create the third of his prequel trilogy, he went, right, I can't do anything with that. I've got no original ideas in the tank. I'll go to another successful film of mine, Gladiator, and I'll create a trilogy of that.
Yeah. No, I mean it's. I'll just say this: like I don't. You guys know I don't go to the theater that often, but I went to the theater to see this with my girlfriend, and I wasn't that skeptical, but I heard word of mouth, well, from the group and from everyone that it was decent, it was good. No, not the majority of you know one-time movies or movies that come out. Sequels are not always great. That's always a toss-up. But I thought to myself, okay, I'll check it out. People have been saying good things about it, so I saw it for myself. It did have the originality, but it brought back a story from the original film. And since I've been lately seeing a lot of historical videos on YouTube about the Roman Empire, the fall of the Rome, the how Rome was, not so glamorous and not so beautiful as everybody claims to be in all of the movies. There was always famine, there was disease, there was outbreaks,
Mm-hmm.
there was not pandemics, but epidemics and stuff like that. So what I will say is that the story was good. I I kind of threw me off about the child from the first one was actually the main um, protagonist. And Denzel Washington, man, every single movie he's in, even if it's a bad movie, he tears it up. And I enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed it, and it was good. It's not most sequels will never be as good as the first movies, but the first installments. But I had a lot of fun with it. They used a lot of new ideas, stuff that I never thought about, and yeah, it's great. I mean, we'll get more into the movie, but I just gotta I'll just say my first few first good impressions on it. Yeah, like any movie, it has some times that lag, but what I did like about the movie is that it doesn't lag too much. So
Yeah.
it's not too fast. It's not too fast paced, but it wasn't like it wasn't too much of a slow burn or drags on.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my
I
first
think,
impression.
yeah, I think where the story for me wasn't as strong as the story of the first movie, but the story of this is very much a very similar tale to what happened in the first one, except
Mhm.
the first movie had more of an emotional. Uh, it felt more emotional, like Maximus losing his wife and his young son, where in this one Lucius only loses his wife, and he's
Yeah,
he's more angry and uncontrollable, where because Maximus was like, I would guess, a veteran soldier, a general of an army. He knew how to conduct himself. He knew how to behave. He knew how to, maneuver and use political prowess to get to where he wanted to go. Where Lucius is more of a loose cannon, I felt, in this. And, his mother, who was in the first one, plays a part, but there is a part of this that I kind of was like, rolled my eyes at, and it's a bit with Lucius and Lucilla, where she reveals who his father is.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, so you're telling me way back in the first one, because they had there was no kind of, I don't know if there was any hinting, or if there was like a small kind of hint of their chemistry, or that there had been some sort of romantic link. And then that's just hiding in your face is like a shock value moment.
Yeah, I'm kind of, that's kind of the thing. I mean, when you mentioned that, it's like I was kind of like in a disbelief about that because I'm like, are you serious? I mean, it's like, where was this even brought up or mentioned in the first one? Because I didn't see it. Because I say I've seen this movie. I mean, I've seen the original like a couple of times, but never did I get a hint that was the case. But then again, maybe that was just on the sidelines of the story. But yeah, I mean that.
I think it was a way to make it more connected to Maximus, but for me, it just didn't hit the mark. But I'm not saying it's a bad movie by any means. It's very much very similar to the first one, but what they try to do more with this one is on the action, up the action.
Yes,
Yeah, and I'll add, I will add because I love the first Gladiator. I watched it a lot, and my dad loves it. I bought actually bought the special edition DVD years ago for him, for I think it was his birthday. And yeah, when I saw it does, like in the beginning of the movie. I'll just say this. I'll add that when Maximus wins the battle, Commodus, they show up. Commodus and Lucilla show up, and Commodus says, "Oh, you know what? My sister's here. She's still very fond of you and stuff like that." Okay, I got that impression. And then when she talks to him, during the camp and everything, and you can tell me, I could tell she has that attraction to him. She still likes him. She still probably, that's where I could see they were intimate, but maybe a little before that, but. I mean, because remember,
but there's
Lucius
no
was already.
Yeah, but throughout
Well,
the films,
Lucius was.
there was no, carry on.
I'm sorry. No,
No,
no.
no,
Well, I'll
no.
just finish. Because Lucius, because remember, Maximus said that Lucius and Maximus' son were the same age. They were eight. They were nearly 8 years old. So it had been already 8 7 8 years. So when they may have had the history, but yeah, they still didn't clarify it. They didn't give that type of backstory if they, how if they were ever together, or maybe they were
Yeah.
together and stuff like that.
And you would have thought, because of the event at the end of the first one, where you see her over Maximus's body, that she would have mentioned it.
Right.
You would have thought
Yeah.
when Lucius and them are there, and she should have went to like, just to let you know this is your father or something like that.
But they didn't do
Yeah,
that.
that's true.
And that's
And
why
then
they appear.
yeah, and then when it is revealed in the second one, you've just got to be like, I think it was like just a thrown in there just to try and be like, so that's the connection.
Right.
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah. I
that's
mean,
I'll
it's true.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Walter.
No, I was just gonna say no. It's that little tug that they say because it brings that full circle, and you wonder why there is this going on. So they have to mention that for that to say, okay, this is what the first. I mean, we got the second one. This is the reason why we're mentioning it now because it was so hidden that it's there now because there's a moment in this film where it's kind of going back to the first one, but it's actually not something film. It was actually something new created, and which Maximus says that your son is safe, and it's like, what are you talking about? I mean, in that moment, it's like Oh, okay, that's what they meant, And as the movie progresses, that's where you get to. It's like, and even during the time that it's running, I'm still in a sense of disbelief with that because I'm just like, we're real. That's really happening. That's really what's going on. So, like I say, I guess it just takes a moment to say, is it truly that, or is just a throwaway idea?
Mm-hmm. Mm. So I cannot remember. What did you rate Gladiator 2 in your review? Was it 7 out of 10? Did you
I
rate
didn't
it?
give it. I didn't rate it, but I can say now, from as we're talking about it, I would say, yeah, I would say it would be like a 7.5 in terms of what it is. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Because like it's
Mm-hmm.
not as good as the first, but it still holds up for what it is because it's its own, you know, life form, its own entity, and it gives you that thought process. Okay, they're trying something new. They are doing something new, and as sci-fi mentioned before, the action is, I got to give it, really ups the ante in here.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still got that momentum that it's like, okay, it's still, you still feel the original one somewhere here. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I would give it a 7.5. I think that's
How about you, Sci-Fi? What would you have rated Gladiator 2?
I rated it about an 8, about an 8.5, because I love that kind of historical that historical reference, and just the history of Rome itself. Gladiators. We're looking into that history. I will gotta say, I still gotta say that Denzel freaking hit it out the ballpark again,
Oh, he was amazing.
and
If he's
yeah,
not
like he was.
nominated for an Oscar, I'd be shocked.
true.
Yeah, exactly, and all the actors, the some that they brought back that are still actually here with us, it's insane. And I gotta just say, before I give my rating, the part where they added the water and the boats to the Colosseum was wow. I was like, that made a lot of, like, that got me, like, almost, holy shit, that was a great idea. I was like, I'm surprised they never
Mm-hmm.
would have thought about that. And then adding the sharks, and I was like, oh man, I was like, dude, like, that was one of my favorite parts of the film. I mean, as far as Denzel, and even the lead actor, I forgot his name, but even the lead actor was he was pretty good. All of the actors were good, but that part where they added the water, the sharks, and the boats, I was like, oh dude, I was like, that was a great freaking action scene. But as far as rating, I'll give it about an 8.5.
Mm. So, outside of Gladiator, which we've all seen in theatres, what other films in 2024 have you actually seen in theatres? We'll start with Sci-Fi. What else have you seen in the theatre?
I saw, of course, Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire,
Mm-hmm.
and then saw didn't see in theaters. Those are probably the only two that I saw. I was thinking of going to see minus one again this past year, but I didn't go. But as
Mm-hmm.
far as the theaters, that's it. Most of the other newer ones I saw on streaming, or I bought them. And yeah, those are the only two. Just Gladiator. Oh, no, 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 no! I forgot. Venom. That The Last Dance. I saw Venom. Yeah, I also saw that with Yvette. So yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I saw three, which that's a lot for me. Like, that's a lot
Mm-hmm.
for me to go in one year to the
Mm-hmm.
theater. But so far, those are the only three.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Walter? What have you seen in theatres?
Oh wow. What I saw in theaters was things like The Fall Guy. I don't know if y'all remember when that came out earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty
I heard
decent.
it's not. I heard it wasn't that good, but
I mean, opinions vary, but I will say that it was a pretty. It is, like I say, it's supposed to be a, then I mean, it's supposed to be a what you call a homage to the television show, because that's what it's basically based on. But from what I saw, it was pretty, because it would use the same techniques they used back then, which is real stuntmen. True, there's a little few, you know, uh, you know, uh, digital sweetening in there, but it was all practically done. It was all tangible. But I actually enjoyed it, for what it is. And like I say, I didn't go to the theater that much. So the films that I did watch were, like I say, they were basically the home runners, which was like, of course, Deadpool and Wolverine. Before that, I saw Twisters, another film that I wasn't going to go see at first, but someone suggested it. They say that it's actually pretty good. It's actually got a very decent,
I've heard
character-driven.
good. I haven't seen it, but I've heard some pretty good things about
It
Twisters.
is.
But that is again another film that we don't need, but they've done it because they don't know, they can't come up without anything original. They keep going back to older movies and rebooting them and doing a reboot / sequel. But I heard that one's a pretty good one.
And just one more. I mean, it's a couple of other, but I'll mention one more. You had mentioned Alien before. Alien Romulus was another film that as you say, it's one of those films you don't need, but surprisingly, it's actually holds up well for what it is. I mean, it's not super over the top, but it's very structured in story, and I'm actually pretty surprised by it. I was like I wouldn't expect it to be as good, but that's only because of word of mouth. So that's the only reason why it did.
Well, my opinion of Alien Romulus is strong start, great middle, then it falls apart in the third act, the third part. Especially when they do that elevator scene in There's That Forced.
Right.
There's a line from the other movies that did not have to be there, that is forced.
And that's the thing. See, that's why I say it's not so, because that one line that's said by one of the characters, I was kind of like, really? You just said this? This is a line from a more popular and more acclaimed film, and you're actually saying this with a certainty and thinking that it's going to pass with some audience members. Like, even I'm like, because even Gojira 851 said, like, dude, this was, you didn't need to say that. I mean, you could have gone all the way through this movie without saying that, and when it was said, I was just like, oh my god, this was that it felt
like,
cringe, basically.
Yeah, it was so cringy. It was so forced. Like, everybody in my theater when I went to see it, I seen a lot of shaking heads. I seen a lot of people go. I even heard one person shout out, "Fuck you."
I wouldn't blame him, because that's exactly what that's. Look, for all its good points, that was the worst kind of homage you can give to a movie, to other better movies. And I was just like, dude, you lost me when you did that. I mean, it's like, I'm everything else, I'm like pretty good. You did that, it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to suck it right now. So that's how it went.
Have
Can
you
I just
seen
add
Alien
that?
Romulus? Sci-fi?
Oh no, because I got, like I said, all the feedback that you guys told me about. I was like, oh hell, I'm not gonna waste the time. And now that I have Yvette, she likes going to the movies, so now it's like, now I'll have a chance to go to the movies more. But everything you guys, all the feedback you guys gave me on that, I was like, no, I'm not gonna watch it, man, because if that little part of the end is just something they say from another popular movie, and it's so corny, like it makes it corny because it's coming in a newer modern film. I would just say, if you want to keep that movie more original, don't bring up shit from the original movies. Just let it be its own. Let it be its own thing, to keep it more like, I bet you guys, let me just ask you this. I bet you guys if they didn't add none of that shit, you guys would have thought Romulus was a decent good movie.
Yeah.
If they didn't add,
I still enjoyed it. It still has some really great action sequences and some amazing practical effects. In the overall story is a decent story. It's like teenagers in space, basically.
okay.
And they just want to get off this shitty planet and make a new life for themselves. So what
Right.
they think's a spaceship in outer space, they go up the space, but it's a space station and they're trapped on it. And of course, without spoiling too much, this fucking face hooker's trapped on the space station, and as you can imagine, all hell breaks loose. In every face hugger that you see, like the majority of the face huggers you see in the film are all practical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Well, that's
see them
good.
run
At
around the
least they
floor.
didn't.
There's like 10 of them running around the floor, and you can see the legs moving, and they were all jumping over. It was amazing. So I
Oh
appreciated
wow.
that about the movie. So if you've got streaming, I don't know if it's on streaming yet, but it is. You and a vet, if you have a movie night at hers, check it out.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but as far as that
So,
particular line, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll just say this real quick. But as far as
mm-hmm.
that one little moment, just I would say just cut away from it because it's like it's just like that kind of bad. I mean, it's just like no. Man.
So,
I definitely
have
will.
any of you guys seen this?
No, I didn't get a
No.
chance to see that, unfortunately. No.
Well, this year I had 4 most anticipated films. The first, of course, was Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire, which came out in March. The second film was this one for the most anticipated films of the year. Actually, no, 5. The other one was Ferosa, a Mad Max saga. So it was Godzilla X Kong. Then it was, I think the next one after that would have been Ferosa. Then it was Planet of the Apes. Then it was Deadpool versus Wolverine. And then the next one, of course, is Nosferatu, which I am not seeing till next week. So I get to see that actually in the new year. So
Nice.
my opinion of the the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is it's the beginning apparently of a new saga, a new trilogy, or whatever it's going to be. It starts off very strong. I love the new ape that introduced Noah. I think he's a strong character. He's a younger ape. He's like new to the world, very navy to what's going on. It's set hundreds of years after the event of the last 3, which was set around our time. So it's a mixture of humanity's civilization and this new growth of this new reigning apes. And this is set hundreds of years later, and it's more or less leading into the original Planet of the Apes. You've got apes riding horses, you've got different tribes of apes. So you've got the apes with eagles, you've got apes that live in this giant compound kingdom, why hence it's called the Kingdom of the Planet of Apes, because you've got Proximus Caesar, who is running this kingdom of apes in this big compound kingdom that he's built. And it's a good movie, but it didn't hit us the way the previous 3 did.
Yeah.
But this is the first of a new chapter, the first of a new trilogy. So they've got time to develop the character of Noah and the time to build on him and make him as memorable as Caesar. And I'm very curious to see how they're going to build the world and if they're going to lead more into what the original Planet of the Apes were. Because even the scenes where they're in like a giant like swamp area and they've got the nets and they're running on the horses and they're capturing humans, they do all the mining in this new kingdom. So it has many elements that remind you of the original.
Well, I'm
So
wondering now that you mentioned that because the original book for Planet of the Apes, from what I was told, that they're more industrial. The apes in that particular story, they couldn't do it at the time because they say, "Well, we're going to do it this way to give it more potential." This is what we see the apes because they're just learning, like live off the land kind of stuff. But I'm wondering will they push it for that mentality if they do go that route as far as they take elements from the original story, I mean the original novella, and say, okay, we're actually building buildings, cars and like stuff like that. If they go that route, okay. But if they still, as you say, if they stick with just what the original '68 version Planet of the Apes is, then I was like, that's fine. I mean, that's still an homage to it, but I don't know. I mean, it's like I say, it's touch and go with that. They decided to go that way.
Well, like I say, you've got this tribe that's
Mm-hmm.
like, I guess, the forest tribe, the nature tribe of apes, who they do farming. They live in the trees and these built huts like in the trees, like like giant tree houses. They control eagles. That help. They use the eagles to help them hunt fish in the lakes and stuff like that. They've still got the wooden spears and that. And then you've got Proxima Caesar in the giant kingdom he's built that is trying to understand and use man-made technology to advance and to be the dominant tribe, I guess. So if you've got that tribe and you've got Caesar's tribe of apes, I would imagine as they develop it, there'll be more tribes of apes, different tribe, similar to
Right.
like I guess Avatar. How as Avatar one, you've got the navy, and then in the second one you had the water tribe, and apparently in the third one they're going to introduce a fire tribe. So I would imagine they're going to do the same thing with Planet of the Apes. But I'd rather watch the Planet of the Apes because for me it's more interesting.
Yeah, the thing.
Right.
No, I mean,
So
I wish I would have saw it, but I mean, I have the first one. I haven't seen the part. I haven't seen the second and third one yet. I only saw bits and pieces, but I'll make sure to catch it. I'll make sure to catch them when I
oh,
watch them.
you've got to watch the modern trilogy. It's just a masterpiece. It's me. I would say out of all the recent trilogies that's been about, the Dark Knight trilogy, Lord of the Rings, this is my favourite. I've got them all on 4K and Blu-ray because I love them that much. I even got the newest one, Kingdom, on 4K for Christmas because
Okay.
I love them. Older trilogies, obviously Godfather trilogy, we know that one. Great. The first one's the best. Second one's okay. The third one's slightly better than the second one. But yeah, so there's not many trilogies that I really enjoy, but the ones that stand out are in my opinion, the best ones. So the next film we can talk about, so we can all chime in and talk about it. I think we've all seen this one. I think you've definitely seen this one, have you not, Sci-Fi?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yep. One of the
So
best movies I've seen this year.
yes. So for me personally, as you know, Marvel's been on a bit of a slow decline. Uh, Ever since they created Disney Plus, they've got to have both stuff on streaming and things in theaters. Uh, so they're under a lot of pressure. For me, the best streaming service still, me personally, is Netflix because it has classic properties on there. It has its own original content. It has international content. For me, it's like I watch a lot of the Korean stuff that has on there. Some amazing content. Disney Plus is struggling. As you can see, they've got all of what they own from themselves and 20th Century Fox on there, and everything else that's original is either connected to Marvel or connected to some Star Wars, and it's
Yeah.
majority of it for me personally is garbage because they've oversaturated everything and they haven't got a clue what they're doing.
Yep.
But
But when I
it's become that it's coming at a shipwreck of things. It's like, I mean, I can grant you, some shows actually did well, but the rest of them just like, why y'all pushing so hard? I mean, you're trying to say you're trying to not lose the luster, but you're doing that by pushes so many of these shows on us, and I'm like, I just zoned out afterwards, because it just doesn't seem like what's the point, you know?
They're hard. I
The
mean,
thing is,
I
there's like
I'm sorry,
no,
Kevin.
there's like sorry, I'm just gonna say outside of the Disney, the Marvel or the Star Wars stuff, you don't ever see them really adding things on there that's original.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Netflix, you've got things that are original. Stranger Things is original. Squid Game's original, and that's a Korean property, and it just exploded all over the world. Well, I'm trying to think of anything else. Oh, One Piece. They created One Piece based on an anime.
One Piece. Yeah.
There's a show that reminds me of the show 24 called The Night Agent.
I heard about that.
Yeah, so they have got a lot of amazing shows. Better Call Saul, based on obviously Breaking Bad. You had a one called Ozark, which is quite similar to it. So for me, Netflix is still top of the food chain. It is, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to streaming.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're right, and like to go back to what Walter was saying about Disney, it's like they already, like I said, they're trying to put out so much stuff but they're putting out stuff that is not like even comic book characters now. A lot of people aren't reading comics anymore, and they're trying to go with the newer narrative of modern comic books, and then they're coming out with the Thunderbolts, and then but none of these characters, the Thunderbolts, nobody really knows anything about them. So why they're already trying to make I mean, yeah, they'll probably put they'll probably put some backstory in the film and everything, but I mean, who really cares about the U.S. agent John Walker? I mean, Bucky to me is the only one that has relevance because he made it out of Infinity War on Get Endgame. Oh, what's up, Anubis? And but I mean, the new Black
Anubis,
Widow.
I'm the sexiest bitch of them all.
Yep, and like the new Black Widow, Yelena, she's still relatively new. The Sentry, only hardcore comic fans will know who he is. And then but like the Taskmaster, and the Taskmaster and Ghost did get a backstory in Ant-Man. I mean, we call it Ant-Man and the Wasp, but
Ant-Man and the
Ant-Man and
Wasp,
the
yeah.
Wasp, yeah, but Ant-Man and the Wasp wasn't really one of the top. Wasn't up there when popularity is once Infinity War came around. But that's what I'm saying. Like, and then like, man, just keep everything original. Like I like all the original Disney films, a lot of them, Little Mermaid, Bambi, The Jungle Book, the Beauty and the Beast, like all the original stuff. Like, I like that original stuff because like we grew up with that. Me and Walter, we all grew up with that. You too, Kevin. But I'm just saying, man, like Netflix. Walter knows how I watch a lot of anime on Netflix, and then you mentioned we covered it this year, the Blue Eye Samurai. That's also a great series. And then
When will we doing
I
that
love,
again?
yeah, I
Because I
love
think
Record of
it's
Ragnarok.
2026. I think 2026. I think season 2 of Blue Eye Samurai's due out. They've actually renewed it for 2 seasons. There's a season 2 and a season 3, and we're not gonna get the second season for over a year because, like you say, it's animation. It's not like CGI and animation. It's more hand drawn animation. It's in the manga style, and that takes a long time to create. So hopefully they'll create the second and the third season back to back.
Yeah, nobody ever like that. Well, like that's what I'm saying. Like I watch a bunch of anime, a bunch of animation on Netflix, and then there's also some films that come out that are good. And but like they're more like you said, original, lower tier. But I'd rather watch that than watch Disney Plus or any of that stuff.
So let's get into it. This thing, Deadpool and Wolverine, basically has brought interest back to the MCU. for films at least. So, and it shows that there is kind of hope for the future of the MCU. I'm still a bit doubtful about with them casting Robbie Downey Jr. is freaking Doctor Doom. I think they should have left him alone, but it depends what the Russo brothers come up with. I would have cast somebody like Cillian Murphy, who was in Oppenheimer. You know, uh, even he might be quite young for the role. He's done Nosferatu, he's done Pennywise, even Bill Skarsgård, I could see doing a great Doctor Doom because he's very much a versatile actor. So, Walter, thoughts of Deadpool and Wolverine?
Well, you brought up a good point right there about it's the movie. All along, kick ass. We know this. Does this restore my faith in the MCU? I can say right now it's very little because this is the first real. I mean, not to say we didn't have any smash hits before, but this is the one that really grabbed people that MCU level, this Marvel, lovers anyway. And we haven't had that since, like, say, Endgame. Now, some would say that, well, didn't we have, No Way Home with Spider-Man? But that's more Sony property than MCU. But that's the semantics. But the bottom line is this movie really grabs you now. But with all the streaming shows and then some of the movies that came out just prior to this one, like that second Doctor Strange film or that second Ant-Man and the Wasp film, I'm skeptical. I mean, maybe this movie, because honestly, this is one of the reasons why before 2020, the films were really like they let the artists do their thing. Don't let I have a lot of studio interference. Sometimes the studios do a good job in doing that. Here, it was primarily Ryan Reynolds and his bunch of hoods, as I like to call them. They really cranked down and say, let's do a decent job of telling a good story. Yes, it's going to be funny, but at the same time, it's going to have some heart, because that's one thing about the Deadpool films I've always appreciated. They have heart. Yeah, they're funny, but they have a lot of heart to why they're going about what they're going, And this film,
it's similar with the Guardian films of James Gunn. They had humor, a mixture of humor, drama, and action.
And that's the thing. Yep. I mean, and like I say, the last one did do that. I mean, I actually cried on the last one, which I could say I've cried on all three of them. The Guardians, but this one, which I was surprised, maybe because I'm just older now. I was surprised that I got misty, looking at certain parts in this film. You think like, wait a minute, here's a character that's breaking the fourth wall, doing a lot of funny things, but this is where I say about the heart thing, that it really grabs you and lets you know that, okay, we are really looking at a good film that's telling a good story. It's got good characters, and we got a character that was dead, but it's a different version of him. And to me, this is why I say I feel that there's a possibility that it could restart, the MCU to making better films, in terms of saying, let the artists do the damn thing and don't mess with them. But again, as I say, I'm kind of skeptical right now. I mean, I used to be the kind of person that was very hopeful and saying that, oh, they'll work out the kinks, they'll be all right. But I know I'm a realist. I've gotten old enough to realize that you fuck up once, you're gonna probably fuck it up again. And when I heard about Danny, when I heard about Donnie being Doomsday, I'm gonna being Dr. Doom. I was like, come on, man, you really? I mean, yeah, he was great as Iron Man. Yes, we loved him as Iron Man. why the hell would you bring in this actor to play that? It's like you said,
Mm.
get somebody else who's never even basically get some nobody who's never been. Or I'll put it like this: get somebody who's never been in the MCU feature. Period. Put them in that role. Who's a very good character actor, and let them do that. But no, y'all gonna take somebody who's been out of the game for a minute, bring him back into the fold, and you're doing this. And I was just like, that's why I say,
I think it's a quick fix because of everything that's happened with Kang.
yeah, but I feel that they're
Because
fucking up already when you do that. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm look, I don't got nothing against Robert Downey Jr. I mean, he was great in Oppenheimer. He did a great job. He did, he does a good job with his acting thing. But I just feel like this is the wrong push. Now if I'm wrong in terms of if they do go ahead with what they're gonna do, and it's like when he played Iron Man the first time, which I was kind of skeptical about that, and he does a good job and he blows me away. Okay, that's okay. I mean, I'll eat my words on that. But if it comes to the point where it's like, oh, I only see Robert Downey Jr. in this, I don't see the character he's playing, and that's my whole take on that, and that's why I feel like this film it kind of re-energized what the MCU should be, but doesn't mean it's going to go down the road that it's been going
Mhm.
since it first initiated its
Mhm.
Iron Man films and the rest of the stuff they did.
Mhm. Definitely. Sci-fi. Your opinion
I was when my
Deadpool
daddy
and
was
Wolverine?
when my daddy was laying his buttering up all up in my mama, all about my mama. I swam up there and I said, "What's up, doc?" It was Gambit. It was, and then like Deadpool, man. Like, dude, like I love Deadpool movies, bro. I love Deadpool as a character because I've known about Deadpool. I even have number one 1990 of the Deadpool comic,
Mm.
and
Oh,
I
cool.
love Deadpool, man. And I didn't find out that he broke the fourth wall until later on, but I mean it's hilarious. It's a good story, like you guys were saying. Freaking oh my God, Blind Owl. You want to build a snowman? Yes, but I can't. It's just like, I mean, and always like, oh, so they know. You see, and he's like, oh yeah, it's like, oh, he's like, wait, I can't keep carrying you around here. It's like, he's like, yeah, well, I ended up selling some old blood pressure medicine, from somebody. He's like, motherfucker, you trying to kill me? He's like, I'm not the one tossing everything in salt, motherfucker. So it's like, it's you like I had to watch it. I watched it like 7, 8 times because the replay value is so good. Like
Yeah.
the replay value is so good, and like and then Wolverine getting in here, man, and Wolverine like cussing and getting real is like motherfucker. He's like
Mhm.
wow, dude. And I mean, it's a long movie too. It's kind of a long, but what I wanted to add, it was a beautiful movie. I wish I would have saw it in the freaking theater, man. I wish I would have
Mhm.
taken.
Oh,
I wish I would have. I wish I
I
would have
seen it.
had.
Yeah,
That.
and I would never cry to a Madonna song, but literally at the end when they're both put together in the final half of the movie, and there's like that scene when they're down in like that giant, power, and they're trying to stop the thing from exploding. Um, in the just the music, and then together, I had tears in my eyes because you did just assume that one of them was gonna die, and I immediately said, "Well, it's got to be Deadpool. Sorry, it's got to be Wolverine."
Wolverine.
But
No,
obviously
but
that
I mean
isn't
that's
the
what I'm
case.
saying. I'm sorry, Kevin. I keep interrupting, man. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. Obviously, that isn't the case. That neither one of them died. So you can tell that they would like to continue using Hugh Jackman in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, till he's 90.
Well, I mean, no. Well, it's yeah, until you're 90. It's like, and then till you're 90. It's like they be just the shit he says. He's like, bitch, put your greasy tits away, you preening slut. It's like, dude, like I swear, like, and then when he meets Dog Pool, and then he meets Nice Pool, and I'm like, oh man, it's like,
And
and then
Lady
he goes,
Pool,
Mm-hmm.
Lady Pool, like, oh man, it's like, and then like when he's trying to steal Dog Pool from Nice Pool, and then he's like, well, in case if something were to happen to you, I would gladly become her papa. He's like, well, what's gonna happen to me? He's like, lots of stuff. And you just see Deadpool go like, You just see nice pose like stare at Wolverine
Yeah,
like,
like
and he's like, and then he tries to run. No, get away! And he's like, oh, the corn was too strong, girl. And he's like, come here. He's like, fuck. It's like, dude, like I swear, I laughed so hard, man. I had not laughed that much in like forever, but no. But yeah, it's. I mean, I could talk about that movie forever, dude. And then seeing the old style comic books made live through
Yes.
through the through the Wolverines, like his classic suits, his like a lot of these, like a lot of even a lot of the scenes were from old comics, like from the late 80s and early 90s. And then when they showed his actual size in the first scene where he's going to that bar and he gets off the stool, he's like, "Oh, would you choose a cute little Wolvie?" And I was like, he's like, you comic accurate short king. And I'm like, dude, like, I was like, what? Why didn't I see this movie? And why didn't I meet Yvette earlier and saw this movie in fucking theaters and be like, oh my, we would have laughed our ass off, dude. She told me before when she told me when we first started talking, she says you got to see that movie not just once, not just twice, at least 3 times because it's such a great. She
Yeah,
saw it twice.
yeah, I'm very particular when I go to theatres if I'm going to buy like any theatre merch because I just think, you're buying it for the sake of buying it. Of course, anything to do with the king, I have to buy. But when it came to
Yeah.
Deadpool and Wolverine, I left that theatre and I had to get myself the Deadpool one.
Oh man, that's
I was
cool. No,
blown away.
but can I
Obviously,
just
I
get
will.
to?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Well, oh my God, Kevin, I'm so sorry, man. Damn,
okay.
I'm sorry.
No. Yeah, because you're built up, man. It's all talking about this movie. It's got you all pumped.
No, because I was just gonna say, but I want to get back to one. I want to ask you guys a topic before I get to Kevin about
Mhm.
your because I want to see your actual. I want to hear your actual view on it, but I wanted to ask because Walter talked. You guys talked about Robert Downey Jr. Is the multiverse still going in the MCU?
Um, well, the thing is, the whole point of them introducing the multiverse is all to do was to build around the character Kang. It was building up to him using his army of Kangs in the multiverse to do something. But we don't know what because that storyline's now probably going to be ended. So clearly, the Robbie Downey Jr., who's now coming back as Doctor Doom, obviously the Doctor Doom are going to be introduced to. I would have to imagine is a Tony Stark variant.
But I
And that's
heard
what I wanted to say.
here's a
That
rumor that I heard. I'm just throw this right out quick. There's a rumor that they're trying to get, and I don't know how accurate this is, get the Fresh Prince himself, Will Smith, to play or replace the guy who played Kane to do that part. So I don't know. So like I say, the multiverse is still kind of shaky, but I don't think it's going to really.
Well, he has a spoiler. If you watch the end of if you see the third one, Ant-Man Quantum Mania,
Hmm?
one of the post-credit scenes is where you've got the Kang. One of the
Variant.
Kangs is variant is there in like this giant hall room talking to thousands of Kang variants, preparing them for, I guess, a war or something. So, and then if you look at Deadpool versus Wolverine, they introduce Henry Cavill in a cameo as a version of a Wolverine variant.
yeah.
So I'm assuming
Well,
if they can introduce, that's their way of introducing other actors in roles. I guess if like past actors, like there's rumors that they're going to introduce a new version of Professor X at some point, who will be leading the MCU version of the X-Men. So having Robbie Downey Jr. in is Doctor Doom kind of I can understand how it works, but I just think it's lazy creative. I'd rather see a fresh face and leave Iron Man as he is, because that the end of the end of what you call it, Endgame, when he clicks his finger and he dies, I was in tears. It had meaning.
Yeah.
And now to bring him back is like an evil version of Tony. For me, it's took away something. It was for nothing.
Yeah. No, you're
And
right. You're absolutely right. And I want to show you guys this because this is just something that I thought about now that we brought up Robert Downey Jr. for Iron Man. I don't know if you've seen what this is, but this is called Infamous Iron Man, and it looks like who does it look like?
Robbie, Doctor Doom.
I think they're gonna keep a multiverse. They're gonna keep a multiverse going, and they're gonna find a multiverse version of Doctor Doom that actually was Iron Man turned evil.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of Iron Man becoming Iron Man, he actually in another timeline or other part of the multiverse, he actually becomes Doctor Doom instead of Iron Man.
Yeah. That's
And
probably
and
the
that's
road they're going to go down. But I've also heard the rumour that we could talk about this all night. There's even a rumour that they're introducing Robbie Downey Jr.'s version of Doctor Doom to cover up a real Doctor Doom that will finally be revealed later down the line, played by somebody else. Who knows? But my version of Deadpool versus Deadpool and Wolverine, for me, it was the film of the summer.
Yeah.
It had everything I loved about past Marvel movies. Great action, great characters, great chemistry, great story. It had heart, it had humour. It was overall just an amazing film. And as Mr. Jake Hall said, this is another rumour.
Yeah.
I've heard
Yeah,
that.
and I've heard that they want apparently the rumour is they've signed Hugh Jackman up to like a new multi-year deal with Marvel, and part of that multi-year deal is he's probably going to be in part of Avengers Doomsday, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Secret Wars. But there's also rumours in that multi-year deal he's going to have a couple of other team-up movies, and one of them apparently is the Hulk versus Wolverine film, which they kind of teased in that scene in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Now, I will say this. I'll throw this out there real quick. And I don't know how accurate this is. Now, since this film is the first official R-rated MCU film in the MCU, they're saying that they might go a different route in terms of doing more R-rated versions of the MCU film later on. I don't know how accurate that is because
it depends what character.
Yeah.
Depends. Like I've heard when the event, like it's been in development hell for so fucking long, but I heard eventually if they finally get around to doing Blade will be R-rated.
But you got to remember how he says in the film, he say, when Deadpool said, when you mentioned about Punisher, which one? There's been like 5 of them, and Blade says it with confidence. He said, "There's only been one Blade. Is ever going to want to be one Blade?" And Deadpool kind of looks at the camera, looks at the break fourth wall like that. It's like we don't know if they'll actually get Mr. Wesley Snipes to do that. So I don't know.
What's up, Phil?
Well, when it comes to Blade, I think because he was wrongly done by Blade Trinity, it left a stink in people's mouth. Like if they don't give, because you've got to think age is a factor as well. Wesley Snipes is getting up there in age. I would like to think if they don't give him, a solo film is like, a thank you for all your hard work and for adding to, the history of Marvel in the world of cinema. I would really much like them to do like a mini series, like you've had the Hawkeye mini series, you've had fucking the horrendous She-Hulk mini series. It would be nice to see Marvel say, right, Wesley, we're going to give you a 6-episode, an 8-episode, or a 10-episode story arc based in your world, your version of Blade, to round it all off. And then just like Hugh Jackman, give him a multi-year deal where he might not be in films as a solo thing, but they give him different cameos in upcoming films. I think that's the way to go. That's what I would do.
I mean, they
He's
need. I
getting older.
mean, see, because he brought back that all of them did. Even Jennifer Garner. Jennifer Garner, you can tell she's such a girl, dude. Like she probably had a hard time, and she's up there in age too. So, and and Blade does deserve to get thrust into the MCU, so that way they can maybe bring in the Marvel Knights. And
Mm-hmm.
but
Is it
like
the
it's
Midnight
like you said, and then
Suns?
Gambit. I would love to see a
Is
no
it
Marvel
Midnight?
Knights. It's called it's called yeah, it's kind of the same thing, but like Marvel Knights is kind of like separate, but Midnight Suns would be more like the Man Thing, Ghost Rider, Morbius, the Werewolf by Night. So that would be also good, but then that's what I'm saying. Like I wish they could come out with I'm still waiting for the Moon Knight, the second season too, because I actually enjoyed Moon Knight from
I did
Marvel.
too.
But then I would also like to the way Channing Tatum did as Gambit, dude. I was like, wow,
Yeah,
dude, bring
he was getting
bring
older.
Mm-hmm.
not make a bring him back in, in a new Avengers movie. But I think because he did such a good job, they can bring him to the X-Men. Bring him into the X-Men because he did
I'm gonna
great,
be
dude. He,
100%
he,
real and honest with you. I didn't like him as Gambit. I
I did.
Okay,
I
I can
didn't.
Oh no,
understand
I
that
mean,
too.
no, I mean, no, I
I
mean,
wasn't
hey, I
impressed.
respect your opinion, man. I respect your
Exactly.
opinion, man. I mean, yeah, yeah, but it's just man, it's like how long we've been waiting to see Gambit, dude. I mean, seeing Gambit wasn't that bad. If the movie wasn't as horrendous as it was in X-Men Origins Wolverine, I could have gone with that style of Gambit. I
Yeah.
forgot his name, but I thought Channing Tatum did good, and they went with because it's more comic-y. It was a more wacky yet serious film that they actually went with his original get up, his original costume, his original accent and stuff like that. But hey, man, no, it's to each his own, man. Because I'll
Mm-hmm.
be honest with you, I wasn't liking the actual actor that they were gonna choose for Blade. He's a great
Mm.
Yeah,
actor. He's an Oscar, not he's an Academy Award winner
Yeah.
or whatever. But I don't see him as Blade. Like I
Yeah.
don't see him as Blade. But it's like I said, it's like we agree to disagree, but
Mm-hmm.
but Blade, man, Wesley Snipes, bro, he's the only Blade that I know. I mean, I
Mm.
that's it's kind of hard to bring him back because he's older. I mean, Hugh Jackman, but
Yeah.
see himself in shape. I mean, you could tell that Wesley Snipes is kind of like, yeah, I'm done with the action thing, but they brought him back. You mentioned Kevin. They don't even have to give him a multi-year deal. Uh, they can give Wesley Snipes a 1 year
Mm-hmm.
a 1 year deal, still make good money, and then make be in a series, and then add them to the next Avengers film or something. Avengers
Yeah.
Secret Wars. But let me tell you something because you guys know I know a lot about Marvel. They're not gonna they probably won't have Thor because Thor is probably gonna be out, but Captain America is a big part of Secret Wars. Um, Iron Man is a big part of Secret Wars. A lot of the characters that were the Avengers that actually not there anymore. Those were really big parts of his Secret Wars. So I don't even know how they're gonna pull that off.
Mm. That'll all be getting figured out over the next few years. Um,
Yeah.
did any of you two see this?
yes, I did see that. I didn't see it in the theaters, but I did see it on streaming. I did watch
Mm. What about you,
Mhm.
Sci-Fi?
I saw the first one, but I haven't seen part two.
Right, we'll quickly do this then. So, overall, what's your opinions about that of Dune Part 2?
it. I got to say, it upped the ante of what the first one was because the first one was just laying the groundwork of what the second is. Because if you saw the '84 version, you realize like it was kind of like meshed together. It's kind of that uh, kind of way that they're trying to get as much as they can in the theater. But since someone does it properly with any novella, they pretty much say, okay, we're breaking it down from this part and then this part, and this part was much more a punch to the gut kind of film in terms of, oh, this is what the books was saying, this is what they were talking about, and they were I personally, like I say, all around, I personally enjoyed it, because it's a much longer film too. That's the thing. This movie is almost 3 hours long. And it's like,
Oh
whoa,
shit!
I mean, I didn't expect it to be that long, but then again, I realized they have to talk about a whole lot from what the book was saying and then put it into this, and seeing all the things. And the thing about it is, when I was watching it, I couldn't help but think about the '84 film, what they did. But then we realized, like, okay, they're being more book accurate with this than they were with the '84 version. So I realized, like, okay, that's what because
Yeah.
a lot of things
like
changed.
I do like what the director's done with the two movies. I think he's paced it out at a nice pace. Yes, I know the films are long, but he has put a lot of detail into the films, and he puts in enough to keep you watching and to keep you want to see where the story goes. And like you says, he raised the ante with the second one, and it's going to be interesting to see how far he goes with the third one, which I think the third one will be called Messiah. Or unless he's just going to call it Dune Part 3. D has put in a comment. This is about Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah, I think if for me, I'm just thinking of age as well and what he's able to do. Like I say, I think if anything, when it comes to Blade, if he doesn't get another solo film, he should get at least like a 6-part, 8-part, 10-part miniseries, like something like Daredevil, and give him the opportunity to do like another, run as that Blade, and then, like I say, have him come into the MCU in small cameos throughout Secret Wars or Doomsday and help the Avengers or whoever kick the ass out of Doctor Doom or whoever the real villain is, because there's rumours that the fact that it's based on Doom, it's all a cover up for something else that's happening. And also, you need to remember in the Fantastic Four that's coming out next year, they're introducing us to Galactus. So, who knows? The world is MCU's oyster.
True. We'll see.
So,
There's so
let's
many
talk
characters
about.
too that they can use.
Yeah, there is shitloads of characters. So, to wrap up talking about films in 2024 that were like, I'll just mention a couple that I liked. I really like this one.
I've heard that's
It's a really good movie. It's a found footage film that shows, the television taping of a television show where the host is doing a live kind of, exorcism where a woman gets possessed, a young girl, sorry, gets possessed by the devil. And you also get to see the clips from behind the scenes of the making of the show, with the host who's desperate to have a smash hit or his show's going to be cancelled. It's a fantastic movie. Another film I'll mention that I seen, it wasn't in theatres for long, is this one. Hellboy the Crooked Man. Now, I really enjoyed this. Yes, the budget isn't great. You can see it's got some iffy, special effects here and there, but it's on a lower budget, made by a lower budget studio. But it is definitely on the grounds of the Evil Dead. So it has kind of that feel and that look of the evil, and it's more horror. It's based more horror. It's more serious than the action hero kind of Hellboy that we're used to. I really enjoyed that. What else did it? One more film before we'll move on to 2025. Is it there? Oh, this is the last film we're going to talk about. And I think we'll all agree this was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big boys.
Like, yes, I think we both can agree. We didn't know what was going to happen after Godzilla, versus Kong. We didn't know the direction they were going to go. For me, I look at this movie. It's just a fun time action adventure. It's not serious. It's not political. It's just a fun adventure film. It reminds me, when it goes to the Godzilla franchise, you have your serious, very dark and gloomy films. Then you have your goofy, fun films that you just watch time after time because they're just fun to watch. And, it's a bit of escapism from the doom and gloom of real life. And that's what this
Yeah.
film is for me. That's
Yeah,
my
I mean,
opinion.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was actually really surprised how much I enjoyed it because the trailer is really 50-50. The first trailer, when I seen the first, the purple glow on Godzilla, I thought, fuck me, they've turned him into a bastard Power Ranger.
Yeah.
no,
But
but I realized, yes, because that's the thing with this film. I think the reason why it got as much as popularity, I mean, not to say it didn't get it before with the other multiverse films, with the release of -1, I think that just kicked it up a notch, gave it a little push. And
mhm,
people saying, "Well, what is this film here?" So it's like, well, this film is doing pretty well. It's pretty accurate, and you know, it's what it's doing. It's like, let's give this film a chance too. And people who are non Kong and Godzilla fans went to it, and as you say, it's nothing but a good, fun popcorn extravaganza, and it doesn't miss. It does. I mean, yeah, it's way over the top with some things, especially in the third act. But that to me is what makes this film such a fun ride. It's not supposed to be taken seriously. It's supposed to take it where it gives you a fun-filled moment in terms of this is where you go to the movies.
mhm,
You go to the movies to have a good time, depending on what you're going to see. And this film is exactly that. It's a definitely good roller coaster ride, and as I said again, doesn't miss.
mhm. And one other thing what
Yeah.
pissed me off to the max when it come to this film is I hated the fact that, as always, ever since 2014, which probably is the best rated or the best critically rated film from the critics, this was panned. It's not -1. It's absolutely a joke. It's stupid. I was like, it's not -1, you dumbasses. It's an action adventure film. For me, I agree with a lot of the fans' take on the monster of it. It's the modern day Showa era. 2014, very serious, very dark, very gloomy. I thought Kong Skull Island was another serious film, but had some better action, great daytime fights. It was a war film. King of the Monsters, just over the top craziness, but had still for me a great plot. Except just kick fucking Millie Bobby Brown out. She was fucking useless.
Mm-hmm.
And then each film from 2014 got more into the crazy, into the sci-fi, into the adventure, into the over-the-topness. And it's getting more and more Showa era. And
Yeah.
I've got no problem with it. And I know I can read on the tin what it's telling me it is, and I accept it. But then you've got the
Mm-hmm.
critics that are going fucking berserk because it's not a -1. Get over it. And that's my fucking rant. But fuck you,
I
critics.
mean, yeah. I've been telling the critics to go fuck themselves for fucking years. I've been telling them for freaking to go fuck themselves for 10 plus years, man. And I never care what the critics say, even about what they said about -1. Half those fucking critics, half those critics don't even watch those kind of movies, but yet they like -1 because everybody pretty much like -1. So I'm like, they're playing to the masses, man. They're half of these people who are critics that get out of college never watch the Godzilla movie or watch, a lot of different types of movies. They get paid to say what they're gonna say about a movie, and if they don't like it, they don't like it. They pan it. But what I like about what I do like about Hollywood is that, you know what, the movies, rather, like Godzilla X Kong, Godzilla versus Kong, it did go Showa era, but I thought still had some serious twist to it, but they went more sci-fi. And then Showa era, pretty much Showa era, man. Showa era for Godzilla X Kong. But those critics, like you know, to add to Kevin's, you know, little rant, those dumb fucking critics, man, they don't know what the Showa era. They probably never heard of the Showa era, so they don't understand, and they don't understand like fans like we are, that we love that stuff growing up. That's what we watch. So I couldn't care less. Even people in the Godzilla community that I used to be cool with and talk to, like they can go fuck themselves too. They don't like a lot
You
of the
know,
movies. They freaking say whatever, you know.
I look at it
So I
this
tell them
way
like,
as well. I look at it this way as well. Marvel, DC, it's American-based property. That is thousands of Americans
yeah,
know, millions of
yeah,
Americans know. Godzilla over in the US, especially in the UK, it's not well for me. It's definitely it wasn't a well-known property. I couldn't get a figure.
yeah.
I couldn't get a T-shirt. I couldn't get a fucking keyring with a Godzilla on. It was non-existent for many, many years. Then the MonsterVerse changed that for me. Hence why I'm kept making up for lost time. As you can see in the background, I'm getting as much fucking shit as I can. But
Mm-hmm.
going back to what I was saying, because it didn't have the popularity or the, I guess, was as well as known as say Marvel, Disney, Star Wars. A lot of mainstream critics wouldn't have done the research, wouldn't have looked into these things. They'll just take the films for what they are without doing any, you know, the diligence into looking at it, and they just look at them as stupid, dumb movies. Well, who's to say I was a critic? I had never seen a Marvel comic book, never seen a show, never read up on it, and I walked in to say, I don't know. Iron Man, I thought, this is fucking stupid. A man with a metal suit. That's so pathetic. It's so unrealistic. It's so over the top. Dumb. But no, that didn't happen with Marvel because it's more well known. But the difference is, despite what the critics are saying, the Godzilla fandom has kept it going, and it's gaining new fans, it's gaining popularity. And unlike Marvel, who is getting high down the throat with the Disney Plus shows, the MonsterVerse is steady. It's moves steadily without any major. There's not 50,000 shows. There's not this and that. It's branded a lot better. And like you say, soon as they found out that Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire was a box office success, instead of saying, right, I want one back out by the end of next year, no, 2027 is the release date of the next MonsterVerse film. So that for me, says writing, let the dust settle, let people forget about it for a while. Then when we come back, people are like, oh shit, I love their movies. I want to go see the next one. That is how I remember films way back in the day. I remember, like, for example, I was too young to see Batman Returns. I fucking loved that film. I snuck in.
Great.
Underage, I snuck in and sat next to my brother. I watched it. I had to wait a full year till it was released on VHS.
Mm-hmm.
But I just remember seeing a poster in the video store saying, fuck me, Batman Returns is getting released at last on VHS, and the anticipation and the excitement just for a VHS, so I could watch it again. You don't get any of that now. 3 months after it's released in theaters, it's on Disney Plus. People aren't going to theaters. Oh, I'm not going to pay for a cinema ticket because guess what? I'm going to go and wait till it's on streaming. There's no hype. There's no excitement. There's no build-up. There's no fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly. That's See, you're hitting on all cylinders with this, brother. That's what I'm talking about, Kaiju. Goodness, that simple fact is, look, I for one can say full-heartedly that growing up, this is exactly what it was back in the day. It was more mystery. It was more, if you're going to wait on something, you got to wait. If it be a 4 or 3 years, you wait. But the anticipation of it is like, okay, this is what it is. It was just like that with the original Star Wars trilogy. You literally had to wait 3 years for another film to come out. And trust me, that was good strategy because it's like you didn't know where it was going to go. And that was the old times. That was, like I say, that was I might as well say age myself. That was the primitive times of how films were mass produced and done well as far as sequels or prequels or whatever. Here, I'm not downing on technology, but technology is kind of weakened or kind of, kind of like kind of weakened the whole process of how we look at films now. I mean, to some degree, it can help it, but sometimes it can really not. And like I say, with multiple shows, multiple channels, it's like, where is the certain mystery at? Where's that some sort of anticipation? And I feel like that's the problem with the entertainment world now. And I feel like I wish that was the thing that we can hone in again. But it's very little out there. And like you said with the multiverse, they only have one thing streaming, and that's that Monarch show. That's it. They don't like pile on all this stuff on everything. It's like, no, they're not doing that. They're actually spacing it out.
I
And
do
they're
know
allowing it
though.
to simmer.
I do know Apple Plus because Apple Plus is like a newer streaming service, and it has kind of programs that I'm not really into. There's been the odd film. There was the Greyhound, which with Tom Hanks, which was like a naval war movie. It was interesting. There's that one called The Bike Rider. So it does more shows similar to HBO Max or HBO, but just not on the level of HBO. And they did Ted Lasso, things I'm not interested in. But because I think Apple Plus had a success with Monarch, they want to kind of branch Monarch out and make it its main, I guess, franchise show on the streaming network. So they announced season 2, but they also said they were going to do spin-offs from Monarch. So it could potentially go down the way Marvel's done, but I still think they're going to do it. They're going to pace it out at a decent rate instead of just throwing it down the necks. Last time I got excited to see like a group of movies in a row was the Infinity Saga. It was 10 years of build-up, 10 years of just groundbreaking storytelling. And then you got Infinity War, you got the payoff. Endgame, you got the payoff. But then I feel since they started Disney Plus, started introducing it to Marvel streaming shows, it's took the shine off of it. It's took it doesn't feel special anymore. And now that they've started the Marvel, multiverse saga, I feel like all of the stakes that they had, life and death, people dying, saving the universe, it's all been just taken away. There's no stakes anymore. There's no there's no limits anymore. Anything's limitless. Anyone can come back from the dead. Anyone can be a new variant. It's just they've taken the stakes away. And if you've got nothing to fight for, there's no stakes, it becomes boring.
Yeah, because you can always, and then Wolverine, and I mean, I'm not trying to bash on it, and I won't bash on it, but now that they replaced one Wolverine with another Wolverine, who says they can't do that for everyone?
I also remember another thing, going in to see Logan at the theatre and seeing the death of Logan at the end of that film. I cried like a baby. And I thought to myself, that's amazing. And then obviously when they announced this movie, I thought, well, one, how they're going to do it? But then I had the multiverse, so I thought that's how they're going to do it, which is kind of what they've done. But it kind of took away all of what they created with Logan.
Well,
I still,
it did, but you no, but it did, but you don't. But I mean, you think Disney, do you think Disney Plus gave a shit about 20th Century Fox? They didn't give a shit about their competition. They didn't care about this and that. They're like, okay, that's their movie, that's their product. Now we're gonna make our own product. So it's just like any business. That's what they're doing. It that's what they're 20th Century Fox. I don't know who the other one. Who else did they buy out? They bought out um they brought out Star Wars stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
mm-hmm.
it's like now, yeah. So
Lucas
now
films.
yeah. So but I didn't mean to interrupt you, man. But I mean, it's just
No, it's fine.
it makes sense. Like it just makes sense that now they were like, okay, that was their product. Now we're doing our product. Now we're gonna do our own Wolverine. Now we're gonna do our
Mm-hmm.
own, because they want to make money, man. They know that now they can use Wolverine for Wolverine versus Hulk, or bring back or make a Weapon X, or make another new Weapon X movie,
Mm-hmm.
or even call it Weapon X instead of
Mm-hmm.
they can do a backstory on him and say, well, you know
Yeah.
what, they didn't really do a backstory, so let's do one. Maybe they might do an actual solo movie called Weapon X, which is his real backstory and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
just to add
Mm-hmm.
to it.
Yeah. So, final thought on how you felt about Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire.
I can easily
Go for
say
it,
like
Walter.
it's I can easily say like this film was one of the top tier films of you know 24 because like I say it's an entertaining ride and like I say it does exactly what the Showa era did. It started off very serious, but of course at the end of the Showa era it became this fun ride, more kid friendly. Although this is still a PG-13 film, it's still a kind of sense of what you get from what the Showa did. And trust
Mm-hmm.
me when I say when you start out with a film that's black and white, it's very dark and very what it's going for, and then you end up during the end of the story where some type of monster just a jump kick and hits another monster in the chest. It's like, okay, how did we get from that to this? And this film does. I mean, this film just kind of does the same thing. I mean,
Yeah.
but thankfully it didn't do it right away. It actually built up over time to get to where it is now. So thankfully it didn't do because I'm gonna be frank with you. There was a time when I was a kid when this didn't really bother me as much, but I feel that the adult in me now realized like I'm glad they didn't do that serious. I mean, they didn't do this fun, over the top kind of thing when they first started because if it did, it would not. I would not have been able to digest it as I do now because with this, you can really like, okay, I get it. But when they started in the 2014, it's like, okay, good. I started strong, started serious, go from there. When you got to this, it's like, yes, we built up to this, even though it's not really serious that much. It's still a fun ride, it's still good.
Yes.
So yes, Godzilla X Kong is definitely one of those films that I feel like I wish we get more of in later years in terms of creativity, but all at the same time not be so over the top, but just enough to say whet your appetite. So hopefully we'll get that
Mm-hmm.
in future months for sure.
Well, another thing I'll say before, obviously, Sci-Fi mentions what he thinks of this. I'll just look at it this way: Godzilla -1, fantastic. Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire, more Godzilla, more happy fans. You know what I mean? It's keeping the Godzilla going.
Yeah. No, I mean, and like I said, with me, like we covered this movie a few times already, and
Yeah.
I agree. Like minus one did give it a boost, and then but it still made close to what 700,000, 700 million at the box office alone. So so that looked like a lot of the critics saying, oh, it's why is it whatever? Why did it make so much money? Well, because it was a summer blockbuster. So it was
Yeah.
fun, man. It was fun. I like that kind of stuff. Like I'm not hard to please, but I'm not one of those guys that's super anal about, oh no, it's too this. It should have shown this, should have shown that. To all you fucking elitist Godzilla fans, fuck you. And what do you call it? And like, I'm just saying, man, it's fun. If you love Godzilla, you'll love everything about it. There's gonna be stuff we're not gonna like about every movie, but that's the whole point. More Godzilla, like Kevin said, more Godzilla. Wait 2 years or a year and a half. Let it settle, so we can rise the
Mm-hmm.
anticipation back up. What we said, if we let
Yeah.
make another Godzilla
Mm-hmm.
movie. So yeah, it
Well,
definitely was a year of the kaiju, man. It definitely was a year of the kaiju. So
yeah.
I agree.
So going just a little snippet, it cost between 135 to 150 million, and it made 571.8 million in the box office. Now, if you think about it, that's just box office sales. Then just imagine how much it made on streaming, how much it made on physical media, merchandise sales. So taking all that into consideration, the overall, you know, profit of that particular film was probably over 700 million.
Yeah. So I was kind of right there. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Well, we've talked about some of the films that were loved this year. So, the last half hour of this stream, let's talk about films that we're looking forward to in 2025.
Mm.
So, I've got a list here. This is by if you can believe them, Variety, the most anticipated movies of 2025. Now, if I agree, I'll go yep. If I don't, I'll call bullshit.
Okay.
The Wolfman, bullshit.
Okay.
Captain America: Brave New World,
Mm,
50-50.
yeah.
Mickey number 17, which is the new clone Robert Pattinson film where he plays a clone. I've
Okay.
seen the trailer. It was meant to come out, but I think they've delayed the release till next year. So this is Robert Pattinson stars as space traveler Mickey 17 in Bong Joon-ho's sci-fi thriller Mickey's. Mickey is a disposable employee is sent on a deadly mission to colonize the ice world Niflheim. When one employee dies, he's cloned with the memories of a traveler who comes before him. Mark Ruffalo and Toni Collette also star. Now, the concept of this does sound interesting. And if you've not seen the trailer, I do suggest you check it out. It does look interesting.
Cool.
So, fucking hell. Bullshit, Snow White.
No, that's no. Let me correct you, Kaiju goodness. No, that's below bullshit. It's below. Elephant shit. It's below horse shit.
Mm.
It's below any kind of shit.
It's
Okay, sorry.
basically when shit turns dry and starts to disintegrate. That's what that is. The Minecraft movie.
Oh,
Bullshit.
I never
Because
played
it
the game.
looks.
Never played the game. Yeah.
Now, this one is definitely on my most anticipated films list. And I've got the poster for it here. Sinners.
Okay.
Now,
Yes, I
this
think
is
that's.
I did a trailer reaction for this. I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with this. So this is Sinners. Michael B. Jordan plays twin brothers in the Ryan Coogler horror thriller. The duo comes across a great evil as they attempt to start over their lives by returning to their hometown. The trailer ends on the eerie note, "You keep dancing with the devil, one day he's gonna follow you home."
Yeah.
And what's the setting of this? It's like after World War II or something like that, or I can't
Yeah,
remember.
it's a period piece, but I've heard it's a vampire film.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you know me, I love a good, vampire film. So
cool.
that one, I'm gonna be honest, I am looking forward to Sinners, especially after seeing the trailer.
Cool.
Oh, what's this one?
Good.
What do you think about the kaiju appearing in the new Superman movie? It looked okay, but until I actually see it on screen, there's nothing really much we can comment. For me, it looked more like a kaiju from Pacific Rim. Looked like a
Yeah,
Pacific Rim kaiju. Have you seen that?
those are very.
Did you see the trailer, Walter? You did in
Yeah,
theaters of the new Superman movie. Yeah, so you know that scene where he's fighting the kaiju in the city.
and it breathes
You
fire
only
on
see
him.
for So for me, that looks more like a kaiju from Pacific Rim.
And that's what I was thinking. It looks like something from Pacific Rim.
Yeah. The next movie, the most anticipated, is the Thunderbolts, and
Mm,
I
I'm
can go
anticipating
either
that
way.
more than Captain America. Be honest with you,
Yeah.
I've read
Well,
that.
if rumors are correct and are true, Captain America's had so many different reshoots, and it's also had 2 private screenings, and both private screenings said it's terrible.
mm.
And this is why I said
Captain
earlier
America.
about. Go ahead, go ahead, Sci-Fi.
No, I'm just saying, Captain America should have kept the shield, man. Could should have just kept the shield, or given it, or displayed it in a museum or something, man. Because I don't see it anymore. I don't I just don't have interest in it.
Mm. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
I'm definitely wanting to see that. I mean, because I want to see how this is going to really wrap up with Ethan Hunt. Because let's face it, Tom Cruise, like a whole lot of actors, they ain't getting no young. I mean, true enough, he don't act like a 60-year-old man, but I hope this goes out with a bang. Because let's face it, I mean, honestly, the Mission Impossible films, I've actually enjoyed all of them. I actually, the last one, it was kind of iffy, but hopefully this one will kind of redeem it a little bit.
The thing is with the Mission Impossible, I'm going to be truthful. I haven't seen the last one, but I know when it was released in the box office, they were expecting a mega hit, and it didn't do that well. In this film, The Final Reckoning, which was, what was the last one called? Something Reckoning.
Dead Reckoning.
So it was going to be Dead Reckoning Part 1 and 2, and they were both going to be released. Like, one was this year or last year, and then the second part was going to get released in the summer the following year. But because of the box office, they delayed it, done some reshoots, and then they've also actually changed the title. It's now The Final Reckoning. So I'm 50-50. I think is a Ghost Patrol. What was the last one called?
Protocol that that came out in
That
2011.
That's the one with Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
I love that one.
That's the what's the one? It was not Ghost Protocol. It's the 7th one. I can't remember what the hell's the name of it. Damn it! I just know it's number 7. I mean, no, it's number 8. Number 8. I think is it number 8? It's so many of them. I forget.
Yeah, everything is a sequel because Hollywood has no originality anymore. If you want originality and decent original concepts and properties and stories and films, go to Korea or Japan. You're fucked in the United States and Britain.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Tom Cruise is a weirdo. Scientology. Well,
Yep.
each
It's
to
very
their.
true.
I'm not gonna disagree with that.
So, Lilo and Stitch, the live action version.
You know what? I'm just
Oh,
gonna turn my
no.
mind off on that one.
I'm not even gonna watch it. I like the animated better.
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna like the
Now,
animated better.
it's also, I've mentioned Sinners as one of the most anticipated films of 2025. My next most anticipated film of 2025 is Ballerina, the spin-off from John Wick.
Ooh.
Now,
Oh,
I
okay.
watched the trailer for that looked fucking off the box. It looked great. It looked
Hmm.
really great. So the John Wick spin-off will follow Ana de Armas as assassin trained in the traditions of the Ruska Roma. The franchise latest features John Wick Chapter 4 became the highest grossing entry in the action series, also earning critical acclaim with a score of 95% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Why does everyone have to fucking listen to Rotten Tomatoes?
I
It's
don't. I
not
don't listen.
it's not the be all end all. Keanu Reeves will reprise his role as John Wick in the spin-off action film, joined by Angelica Houston, Gabriel Bryan, the late Lance Reddick, God rest your soul, Catalina Sandino, Marino, Norman Reedus, and Ian McShane.
Okay.
Ooh, Ian McShane. Yeah, Ian McShane. He's also legendary now.
The same reason as I said before, no originality. Disney cannot create original content. Anything
Right.
the owner ever created before, they will reproduce, reboot, turn from animation to live action because they've got no ideas. The well of originality is drained. And all I know is I say this all the time. They are sucking on the green alien titty milk from Star Wars, the freaking, the
Yeah.
last Star Wars movie.
I'm not trying to give them no ideas, but I wouldn't hesitate to say that if they do a Lady and the Tramp live action version, I'm like, okay, Disney, I'm done with you. I'm done. I'm done. Okay, y'all
Right.
just.
How to Train Your Dragon live action film.
Oh
I'm like
no.
sci-fi. I'm like sci-fi. I'll stick with the animated version. I'm sorry.
Oh no, dude.
Now,
Oh no.
this one looks good, the next one, but I can forgive this one because this is the third film in a series and it took a long time to get the third one off the ground. And I think it's worthy to finally have a third entry. We're talking about 28 years
20,
later.
Okay.
Now, I
20
watched the
years.
trailer and the trailer looked really interesting. And apparently, because there has been quite a gap between the second one and the third one, they're making 3 films. They're making this a trilogy. So next year on June the 20th, we're getting 28 years later. Then the year after, we're getting 28 years later, part 2, The Bone Temple. And then there's an untitled third film coming out.
Oh, okay.
So if you haven't seen these films, they're some of the best British horror films. And they really were unique and different at the time for the zombie genre. A bit like Train to Busan.
But no more Fast and Furious, please.
Well, there's still one more to come.
Oh no.
I didn't want to
So,
bust your balls with that one, sci but yeah, they got one. It's supposed to be one more coming out.
So that's
so
what, 10?
Yeah.
yes, 10 part 2.
Sorry, Ken.
So it's 10 films part 2, so fucking 11 really. And that
Oh
and
shit.
that bullshit spin-off Hobbs and Shaw or whatever the fuck it was called.
That's what it was called.
Which, yeah. So the premise of 28 years later, nearly a decade after he first starred in Danny Boyle's and Alec Collins' now iconic zombie fix, Cillian Murphy is returning to the 28 Days Later franchise with threequel, 28 years later. The third film in the series and the first in a new trilogy, 28 years later, sees Murphy reprise his role as Jim, a bike courier who struggles to survive a zombie apocalypse. Aaron Taylor Johnson, Jodie Comer, Ralph Fiennes, and Erin Kellyman also star.
Mm.
So there we go. Be honest, I am kind of looking forward to this because I do love their movies. What's this one he's got? Why do zombies take over the Earth in 3 movies? They are mindless and should be easily defeated. Well, you could go and ask one, I suppose.
Yeah.
If you ever see a zombie, if you ever see a zombie, you can go and ask them because who knows? Who knows?
You say that's funny.
But it's yeah, you know what, man? I'm not a zombie guy. I'm not a zombie person. I haven't seen World War Z. I haven't seen The Walking Dead. I haven't seen none of that stuff, man. I don't like. I'm not a zombie. I'm not a zombie person. I don't like zombie movies. I mean, like Dawn of the Dead, like in the 80s, and of course, Return of the Living Dead, and the what do you call it? The Return of the Living Dead and Return of the Living Dead Part Two. Those are the only ones that I've seen that are good.
Mm.
But that's it. I'm not much of a zombie guy. I would kind of agree with them and say, they are kind of easy, but shit, when they come in millions, well, fuck. I only have seven. I only have 7 bullets. I only have 7 bullets on each gun, so I'm only gonna take out seven when it comes to 7 million.
Yeah.
But it's
Well, he's
yeah,
put Mark the Eagle has said, why doesn't the military use heavy artillery against the zombies? Well, if you'll watch most zombie, because that is an interesting point, and he's got a point. I agree with that. Why don't they? If you watch most zombie films, it starts off as a plague or a disease, and it just spreads like wildfire. It touches the
yep,
scientists, the doctors, the medical workers. They're wiped out. They become zombies. So then you've got no medical staff to fight it. Then it gets to the military. They get bitten, or the disease touches them. They die and reanimated into zombies. It's like a continuing wave. And before you know it, before they even get the chance to use the artillery, they're wiped out.
yeah.
Because
So,
that's all zombie. That's all the zombies are. It's just a plague. It's a virus, and you get bit, it spreads. I mean, it's like, oh, hey, there's plenty of
because if
people
you look
around, so
like
Hey,
it's like is it walk like it happens in 28 days later. It took 28 days for Britain to be taken over by this disease, and I'm sure it's the same with The Walking Dead when Rick, the character Rick, he wakes up in the hospital or something happens and literally goes into the city and it's totally deserted.
yeah.
And I
I
think
mean,
is it
it's.
the Fear the Walking
I'm
Dead?
sorry.
Sorry, Sentry, but I'll just say this point then. But the Fear the Walking Dead, which was the second show in the franchise, explains how it starts, and you slowly see everything happen.
I mean, you're right. And then, but what I do like about the Return of the Living Dead is when the military right away they go because I guess they were a part of it. They were a part of that weapon or that whatever they're gonna try to do or bio weaponry or whatever. And they go and take out when they find out that whatever happens when the Return of the Living Dead that when they open that container or whatever, they just go and they bomb that motherfucker, bro. They're like, yeah, we'll bomb it, we'll cover it up and all that stuff. Like they just see why don't they do something like that. But then again, it's like if they do well, they're damaging. It's collateral damage. It's collateral damage. But I mean, why don't they do that? Why don't they bomb a fucking city? Why don't they bomb everything and just get rid of it? But then it's the risk at collateral. It's the risk of collateral damage. So I mean, I guess but why don't they just bomb the motherfuckers? Why don't it's
Mm-hmm.
just just bomb them? Like just freaking
Mm-hmm.
missile, boom, take it out, take out the virus, and that's it.
So this is interesting. You've got Jake, who's put, would The Mummy be considered a zombie movie? And like sci-fi, not a fan of zombie films either. So that's Jake.
Mm,
And then Mark the Eagle, but mummies aren't really zombies. I thought they were very similar. And then
yeah,
you've
me too.
got Billy Lowe. There's an old Italian film where mummies behave like zombies. I can't remember the name right now. Me personally, when you look at the like, say, the Universal horror version of the Mummy, it for me, I thought the Mummy literally was a zombie, but with magical powers, be able to reanimate
Yeah,
himself and come back from the dead. So technically, in my mind, a mummy is like some sort of mystical zombie. That's just my opinion.
yeah,
Especially if you
yeah.
watch the 1990 mummy films with Brendan Fraser, he definitely looked like a zombie in that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Next up, we have Jurassic World Rebirth. The fucking well
Mm,
is definitely dry. The only hope I have for this is Gareth Edwards
yeah.
and
And they
Scarlett
got.
yeah, that's
Johansson.
I was
true.
gonna say they got Scarlett Johansson in there. I'm like, all right, maybe. Yeah.
So the start. This is that they've released the plot. So this is what it says about the new one. The newest edition in the Jurassic World franchise stars Scarlett Johansson, Jonathan Bailey, and I can't pronounce that name. Sorry. With Gareth Edwards, director of Rogue One, Star Wars story, directing a script from David Cope, who wrote the original Jurassic Park. So the person who wrote this one wrote the very first one. So that gives us a little bit of hope. Um, and then it says this latest film is set to take place 5 years after Jurassic World Dominion, after the planet's ecology has become unlivable for dinosaurs. An interpret team races to find DNA samples from three massive creatures.
So
Well,
are we going the route of the Planet of the Apes in terms of Planet of the Dinosaurs? Maybe is that what they're going with?
Well, according to that, it's seeing the world that the dinosaurs are living in, like the environment, it's unlivable for them.
Hmm.
So they're trying to get the DNA from three giant creatures. Who the fuck they're getting the DNA from? Is it Shimo, Godzilla, and Kong?
I mean, a great crossover. Or from
Gorosaurus
the
from Gorosaurus, maybe.
Well, I've actually heard that there's been photos leaked that the T-Rex is back, the Spinosaurus is back, and the third creature I'm thinking is it not the Mosasaur in the ocean because that's huge.
Yeah, yeah. That's almost kaiju size right there.
yeah, exactly.
I think you've seen that Walter Planet of the Dinosaurs.
Yeah,
I think I
it's,
have seen this, but
yeah,
it's been a while. It's been a minute.
Yeah,
yeah.
Planet of the
It's back in the
Dinosaurs.
'70s.
Yeah, I think is that not black and white or is it color?
No, no, it's
Yeah,
color. It's color, but it's very. It's depending on what DVD you have, it's pretty rough. But I mean, if you get an updated one, it's decent, man. I mean, it's lasers and '70s and
yeah. That's yeah.
yeah, really hot girl, in there. And
Oh
but it's
yeah.
like yeah, the Planet of Dinosaurs, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think it's T-Rex versus Stegosaurus, and then there's Triceratops stabs an actual like guy by a cliff and just literally impales him and just falls down. And
Yeah, I think it's
yeah,
about eight.
I
Now,
used to have that. I used to have that movie on VHS.
now let's have a look. I'm not interested in that shit. Oh, there's coming out in September, The Bride. And
Okay.
let's talk about it. After the box office success of Beetlejuice, Warner Brothers is once again banking on bringing the dead to life with Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride. Christian Bale is set to play Frankenstein's monster, while Jessie Buckley, who previously starred in Gyllenhaal's The Lost Daughter, will portray the bride. The story is set in 1930 Chicago and aims to twist the Frankenstein story on its head.
Oh, did it have to be Christian Bale? But he's not a bad actor. It's just
Yeah, he's
the Bride of
So,
Frankenstein, obviously.
well, we had Nosferatu this year, big success, and I believe. Well, I haven't seen it yet. I'm waiting to see it to see if it's going to make me top 10, which I'll release on the channel soon after I've seen it and probably a review. But the Bride, it's going to be apparently it's getting shot in black and white, so they're
oh,
definitely going old school. And the fact it's got the 1930s Chicago environment could be different. Let's have a look. The Bride. Oh, they're bringing out there's a film coming out on October the 3rd called Michael. It is the Michael Jackson biopic.
oh, okay.
Mm.
So let's see what it says. Michael Jackson is the latest celebrity to be given the biopic treatment, raising questions of just how much attention the film will pay to the sexual misconduct allegations against the megastar. Anthony Fuji from Training Day directs Jafar Jackson, Michael Jackson's nephew, as the king of the pop, while Coleman Domingo will play Joe Jackson, Michael Jackson's father. The cast also includes Miles Teller, Kat Graham, Laura Harrer, and Nia Long.
Hmm.
Nia Long's still around. Yeah, she's still around.
Yeah, yeah, he's still around.
Yeah.
She's just up there with me. She's up there.
Mhm.
Oh,
Do you watch a lot
Woo!
of
You're messing with a
biopics?
smooth criminal.
yeah.
Do you,
But
mhm.
what you was asking
do you
them?
watch? Do you watch a lot of biopics?
I do. I mean, me personally, I do because it gives me a chance to say. But then again, you got to remember they're taking artistic licenses for these things. Some of the stuff could be made up, but a majority of it is true what they're talking about. But I
I
feel
did
if they,
like the Queen biopic, Bohemian Rhapsody. I
yeah, I
wasn't a
look now.
fan of the Elton John one, which was Rocket Man. The Whitney
Oh yeah,
Houston
straight out of
one,
Compton. I really
yeah.
like that. That was good.
The Whitney. I haven't seen the Whitney Houston one, which was released this year.
Did you ever
Coming
see
out on.
Ford versus Ferrari?
I have. I thought that was decent.
Pretty decent.
Tron Ares is coming out on October the 10th, the third in the Tron series.
I thought they were done with that.
Yes. 15 years after Tron Legacy blasted into theaters, the video game characters will notably be returning to planet Earth in the latest Tron Ares starring Jared Leto.
Ooh.
They just can't let originality come into play. They got to keep on milking that shit out before.
Yeah, but they're trying to build a franchise, The Black Phone 2.
Wait a minute, the Black Phone too?
Yep. So there's a film that came out, which was a horror film called The Black Phone,
I
with
saw that.
Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
Well, the sequel's on its way next year.
What?
Yep. 4 years after Ethan Hunt frightens audiences with his portrayal of the Grabber, The Black Phone 2 brings him back for some more scares. While major plot details are not currently known, Universal and Blumhouse, the Disney of horror, which is bullshit, has said that this aims to be the launch of a sinister new franchise.
Question: has either one of you seen the first film? Just out of curiosity.
Hello, little Loki.
What's up, little Loki?
Because
I have not seen the first one.
okay. Well, then I won't give no spoilers because I was going to give a major spoiler about Ethan Hawke's characters. Well, I won't do that here. I'm not going to do that. I'll just say that
Now,
if he's coming back,
this
cool.
one I had kind of hopes for until I read the plot synopsis. I kind of rolled my eyes. I thought this was going to be a film set in the World War II setting or World War One. I thought it would be complete fucking badass, but it's actually set in the future. Predator Badlands.
Oh,
No, that sounds like something. Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like something set that should be set in a Western motif. Actually,
It's about two twin girls in the future on an abandoned planet.
oh wait a minute, I do know about this, but yeah, yeah, that's right. It is. Oh my god. Okay.
but
So
why two
following the
girls? But why? I'm thinking why?
one's in the military and one's a scientist with no military background.
Oh, okay.
So the name Badlands assumed I thought was going to be in the war.
That's weird,
So
man. I mean,
yep.
yeah, yeah. Okay, another girl facing Predator. Is it based on the Predator franchise?
It's
Oh
like
no, dude!
it's
Like, oh
like
man.
I guess it's like I think what they're trying to do with Predator now, they're gonna try and make it like an anthology series where each film is a Predator movie, but it's on its but it stands out on its own. It's its own thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's got
I'm
you
not. No,
following
yeah,
the
yeah.
it's got you
Go ahead, sir.
following the
I'm sorry.
Hulu streaming success of Prey in 2022. Director Dan Thrashberg is returning to the world of Predator with Predator Badlands. So it's not even called Prey; it's called Predator Badlands. While plot details remain vague, it was reported last summer that Ellie Fanning is in talks to star in the 20th Century Studios blockbuster. Well, that's now confirmed. She's definitely in it, and she's playing a set of twins.
Okay.
You know what? I would have felt better if this was set like around not with Prey, which was set like many moons ago, but kind of like I say, kind of a Western situation. I would have settled with that more than it's set in the future. But I mean, whatever.
Makes sense, man. I mean,
Well,
I didn't think Prey was that bad, but I
like I
mean,
say,
I'm glad the dog helped. But I mean, that's all I could say.
Anything else?
Oh, you
mm-hmm.
froze, Kevin. You froze.
Kevin froze.
Yeah,
He
he's
did freeze.
froze.
Damn, he freeze? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, we're back.
Okay.
there he is.
Dude, what happened
I'm
to you?
back.
It's-
Some
He froze
technical
on us.
bullshit after. That's what happens when you go live, people. Things either go well or they go bad. But so far, that's just the only glitch in the system. Glitch
Glitch
in
in
the
the matrix.
matrix, should we say? Was it the blue pill or the red pill?
Well,
Who
you heard
knows?
this now since you mentioned sequels. You know they're making a Nobody 2 coming out next year. Have you seen the
Yes,
first
they've
Nobody?
actually, and apparently, I think one of the websites has released the first image from the sequel.
Okay. I wouldn't mind seeing
So,
that, to be honest with
like I've said before, the well is dry. The titty milk is flowing. The green alien titty milk is flowing. Because Hollywood are bringing with the Running Man reboot.
Oh,
Following Glenn Powell's starring
you.
turn in Hitman, the actor will be joining Josh Brolin on screen for the dystopian thriller The Running Man. Set in a futuristic United States, it's based on Stephen King's 1982 novel that was also adapted into a 1987 Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. King wrote the script for the feature alongside Michael Bacall and Edgar Wright, with Ed Wright directing in addition to Powell and Brolin starring in the cast of The Running Man.
In case
So,
anybody who's watching right now, why I'm getting so irritated right now, why I'm making these faces, because this is hurting me generally because I cannot understand why this is going on.
there's no originality, Dr. Savage.
I agree, Dr. Savage. I agree, man. Like, I don't even think Hollywood's gonna be around in the next 40 years, or even 30 years. In the next 30 years, I don't even think Hollywood's gonna exist.
I think you're giving them too
Uh,
much credit, sci-fi. I'm gonna say 10. To be honest with you,
Now, this, I agree with this. Guarantee there's going to be a reboot of Jaws eventually.
Jake,
And when
shut
and
the hell up, man.
that
See, I wouldn't even put that out there, man. Damn.
the day that is announced, DJ Anubis will riot.
And I'm gonna ride
Yep.
with him because that's a childhood favorite, and you don't mess with those. But yeah,
Yeah, that's just, yeah, man. Like I said, I don't think. Well, shit, it's already shit right now. So I've already said this to you guys a bunch. A few diamonds in the rough. Every year is a few diamonds in the rough. But
you
man, why do you guys think I've gone so retro, man? Why do you think I don't? I don't. You know what? I'll even tell myself if there's reboots, like I just won't watch them. I'll be like, I'm not gonna watch them.
yeah,
I'm lost for words. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
yeah.
Avatar Fire and Ice. Fire and Ash. Sorry, Avatar Fire. That's due out December the 19th. So I'll be very much full of alcohol and won't give a flying fuck that day because I'm not a fan of Avatar. I just think they're just special effect heavy, simple stories that's been done time and time again.
That's basically John. That's basically James Cameron just sucking on his own dick. Sorry, you know. If that's
Yep,
politically incorrect, I don't give a fuck.
I agree. Now, the next two, and these are the final two films we'll talk about for 2025. I'm very curious because I'm a big fan of these. Not the films exactly, but I love the story. I love the characters. Actually, have got all of the. You remember how Marvel did the Ultimate series?
Yeah,
Yeah.
They did like they
Mhm.
did the comic book series, the Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate Hulk, and all that stuff. Ultimate X-Men. I've got all of the Ultimate Fantastic Four.
Oh, the
okay.
ultimate Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Huh.
Now Marvel's changed up its strategy where they're not going to release like 2 or 3 or 4 films a year. They're getting back to focusing on making movies good, which is what I like. And so next year you've got 3 Marvel films coming out, but 2 had already been announced, which was Thunderbolts and Captain America: Brave New World. The third of their movies is the big summer release, which is Fantastic Four.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're a big Marvel fan, sci-fi. What's your opinion of the upcoming Fantastic Four?
Uh, I have a little bit of faith. I have a little bit of faith that they'll do it right. If like you said, if they're not going to be pushing out four movies a year. I hope they choose. Did they say the cast yet?
Oh yes. So the
Okay.
Fantastic Four has been rebooted once again, this time assembled by Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, the Invincible One, Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm. Now Joseph Quinn's been on a bit of a roll. He starred in the last series of Stranger Things. He was in what's it called? A Quiet Place, Day One, and he played one of the emperors in Gladiator 2. He played the emperor who got his head cut off.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's good. That's good. Yeah.
So he's
So
a
far, I
decent
don't know.
actor.
Yeah, I don't know who Kirby. I don't know who Kirby is.
You've got Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, who was also in Gladiator, was in Wonder Woman 54. He's been in shitloads of already existing comic
Wow.
book franchises.
Right.
Reed
So he's played
Reed Richards has gone. Yeah, Reed Richards has gone Latino. Oh wow.
Right.
Latino Heat with Reed Richards. And then Ebon
Wow.
Moss. Then I've never heard of this actor, Ebon Moss Batshit as Ben Grimm The Thing. The film will reportedly take place in the 1960s New York, with Matt Shakeman, who directed and created WandaVision, directing this film.
Okay.
Okay. WandaVision was good.
Yeah,
WandaVision was
WandaVision
good.
was.
So
That was the
and they're doing it in
first
this.
show, and it's for me, it's the best still to this day.
Yeah, and they're doing it in the '60s. See, that's what I like. They're taking it back because that's when I think that's when they were formed. I think they were formed in the '60s,
I think they were.
and I think it wasn't the '40s. Was it the '40s? No, I think it was the '60s. And that I like because they're taking it back to retro. They're taking it retro, and that's what I like
Mhm.
about it. Like they
Well,
that
even
gives
if you
me some.
look, yeah, I'm just saying, even if, sorry for interrupting, but even if you look at the poster's retro. Looks like something like the
Yeah,
Jetsons.
Yeah, that's what
yeah,
that's what
that's
I was
that car.
thinking. Looks like the Jetsons right there.
So the film's actually proper title, and I think they're trying to do similar things with this that they did with the Spider-Man. So we had Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home, then Spider-Man No Way Home. This film is called Fantastic Four: First Steps.
Hmm.
Okay.
So because they're taking the time with it and they're not just hiding it out where I feel like I've got a bit of faith in this one.
I do. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree, and it's just kind of hard. Like, I mean, if they, well, I mean, when they get the whole thing with the radiation, the cosmic radiation, I don't think they age as quick. I don't think they age as
That's
soon. I
fast.
don't think they age as quick as humans do.
Mhm.
But it's kind of like hard. Like, how would they play them? How would they put them into modern times? Unless
If
unless, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Unless there's some sort of time travel element.
what I was just about to say, if it was like the first Captain America, where it's set in the World War II setting, and he gets frozen, if it's something like that, but like you say, sci-fi, if it's like a time travel thing, and that's. But then again, as you mentioned before, if they don't age that much,
Mhm.
maybe
Mhm.
that's. You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
good.
Well, keep talking.
Yep.
I'm just going to nip to the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
While you
Yep.
give your thoughts on the movie.
I could do that. No, I was gonna no, as I was saying, added on to that, it's the fact that if they do go the steps of what they did in the Captain America films, with Chris Evans, which I love all through, they were, better after the the next one. If they did choose to do that, because if it's set in the '60s, which is, if you think about it, it's coincidentally the same kind of expansion of where Steve Rogers comes into the future, present time, that would be the thing, And if they do go that route in terms of them, something happens because he mentioned they're going to be dealing with Galaxis, so something could be portal, take them to the future, to our time present, or a few years after that, So I don't know. I mean, it's they could go any kind of way, but I don't know. I mean, because as you said before, they don't age as fast. So who's to say they won't go that route?
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Like when it comes to Marvel, and a lot of the see, because they're the first team, they're the first team that ever was assembled in Marvel. They
Yeah.
were the first. They're royalty. They're Marvel royalty because they have a like I said, they have that history of being the very first superhero team in Marvel. So
Okay.
they so if
Well,
Disney wants to take them seriously,
aren't they called the
go ahead.
first family of Marvel?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, the first family of Marvel, and that's why they gotta, man, if they really want to make this, because if this is, Stan Lee would be turning in his grave if they mess this up. But I
Right.
mean, this is something. Yeah, this is something for me, bro. Like right here I have the freaking Human Torch right there. I have the Thing back there, but it's like but I mean, I just hope like they do it right and like Walter was saying, if they take it back to like just like they did like with Captain America: The Winter Soldier, but they can either use time travel or say they go to space. Say they go to space to look for Galactus or to meet the
Well,
Silver Surfer or something like that.
well,
Then they
I
come
do know
back.
Galactus is in it. It's been, I think it's an Irish actor that's doing Galactus. Forgot his name. And I do know that the gender swap in the Silver Surfer. The Silver
Oh,
Surfer
yes.
will be
Oh
female.
no!
You didn't? Oh, you didn't know this?
Fuck!
That's right. Yes, I knew about this.
You know what? Fuck you, fucking Disney, bro. Fuck that shit. I'm sorry, I'm saying loud. Fuck you, Disney. Fuck you, and what are you, Kevin Feige? Fuck you, motherfuckers. Fuck
It's
that
like
shit, dude. Fuck that.
It's like what I told you.
No.
Instead of creating original and new strong female characters or, culturally correct characters, they have to fucking swap everything because it's lazy creative.
Mm-hmm. Whether it be gender
So
or
the so are you sure they said it's a Silver Surfer that's going to be gender swapped?
yes, it's
Yep.
gonna be female.
I tell you what, I'll look it up. I'm sure I'll look it up.
No, I thought she was aware of it. I thought she was aware of that sci-fi. Yeah.
No, I heard a rumor, but I didn't know it was fucking true.
No,
Yeah, it's true.
I
It's
saw
been
some stills.
confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
You fucking fuck you motherfuckers.
But
You motherfuckers.
But you see exactly why this is the problem with Hollywood, and Disney is just a pawn in this. It's like, why are you going to woke stage? Don't do that. Just take what the character was when you first came out and leave it as, Don't do this swapping bullshit,
So the actor playing Galactus is Ralph Ineson. And the actress who was playing Shala Bal, aka the Silver Surfer, is Julia Garner. I've never seen.
Wait. Shala Ball is actually the wife of Norrin Rad.
Oh, okay.
Norrin Rad is the Silver Surfer, and Shala Ball was his wife from the planet Zen La. So if they're reversing the story, now that sounded. See, I know who Shala Ball. Shala Ball is the wife of Norrin Rad from the Silver Surfer from the planet where Galactus.
And
there might be a connection.
Yeah, the actress that's playing Julia Garner, she starred in the Netflix series, which how I mentioned earlier, how Netflix had some amazing original shows.
Yeah.
I mentioned one of them earlier, which was Ozark. She starred in Ozark. So, and she is a good actress, so I believe she could pull it off.
Well, then maybe
okay. Now I'm still pissed. I'm gonna be pissed for a fucking while, but at least they're switching them and not naming her a different name like Shala Rad or something Rad. Like they're not using Norrin Rad. Norrin Rad is the original Silver Surfer from the planet.
Also, what I'm reading is also going to be in the new Wolfman that's released in March. She's the female lead. Wow. So she's getting up there in terms of roles and films.
Oh, but Marvel, you just pissed on my. You pissed on my fence.
But you know what? Maybe there is light at the tunnel. Then maybe because see if you know there's a there's a female version of Silver, but it's the wife of the actual Silver Surfer. Then maybe there's some hope on that line. Then.
Well, not actual wife, but his love interest.
His second.
Okay. They've made it flipped it round where Galactus has destroyed the planet and where she might have died when the destruction of the planet. They've made it change it up where it's him who died, she survived and became the Silver Surfer.
Yeah,
I can accept that. That seems.
So for me, it's not like complete gender swap. They've just changed the story around to create a different character. Well, not a different
Okay, but
character.
yeah, okay. Yeah, but I'm not as pissed. Now I'm not as pissed, Disney, but still, you fucking cocksuckers. Why can't you bring the Silver Surfer? The Silver Surfer. Surfer. NORRINRAD fucking double D.
Well, she is the Silver Surfer. She just has a silver vagina.
And silver tit. Don't forget that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well,
Let's hope
let's
it's
see
not
what
cold, and
happens.
let's hope it's not too cold in space.
Mm.
But anyway,
Okay,
let's
go on,
move on.
Kevin. Sorry.
So
I'm just,
Rant
we just,
over.
yeah.
Rant over.
there are 3 more movies that we need to look at that are
Okay,
coming out in
okay, go.
2025. Now, this one had a teaser trailer, and I love the original. It's this
Return
one.
of the Living Dead. Oh,
I
yeah,
haven't heard of
Return
that.
of the Living Dead. Yes.
Now,
Okay.
if you've seen, I absolutely love the teaser trailer. Now, for me, this is not bullshit. This is not just a reboot. It comes across as a direct sequel.
Okay.
So
To the Night of the Living Dead, or what? I mean,
the Return of the Living Dead.
okay.
See, that's my favorite zombie movie, The Return of the Living Dead, when one where they get torched by the government when they found out that thing
Yeah.
that's my favorite. Even though it's not one of the, it was a flop. I heard it was a flop in back in the day when it came out.
It was, but it
But
was
that's
very
one.
effective though for what it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
it's called status now.
yeah. So this for me sounds great. I am quite excited because, as you know, a lot of horror properties are now going down the seasonal, festive Christmas route. Now, Terrifier 3's Christmas based. All we need now is a Freddy film or a Jason film, Michael Myers film at Christmas time, and we're complete. But I think this sounds like a good idea. So the story of the Return of the Living Dead reboot/sequel is this. Taking place 18 months after the events of the original film in a UEEEDA warehouse in Louisville, Kentucky, a new Trioxon 245 leak puts a small Pennsylvania town on the brink of a zombie outbreak during Christmas in 1985.
I was about to say they're setting in the 80s. That's okay.
So
Right
it's
after that.
basically it's set. So it's 18. So you have the first one, the first night, Return of the Living Dead, which was obviously it's a 1980s film. This is set 18 months after the events of that film. At Christmas time in 1985. Now, I think that just sounds great.
That it's connected to the Return of the Living Dead. Yeah, because they torched the place, right? That they say that they torched it, and it was
Yeah,
a
they
little
nuked that.
small little rural town.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and this is
it
set
was.
in 1985.
Okay.
Yeah, that's that. No, because it makes sense now. See that gives me a little bit of hope too. You know that okay, they're connecting it, but they're not redoing it. They're not like recycling it.
Yeah, so technically you could probably say it's the Night of the Living Dead Part 2 in many ways.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, not the Night, the Return of the Living Dead. And who's directing this one? It's being directed by Steve Walsh, who also is the writer.
Okay.
Now, Steve Walsh has worked on a number of horror films. He worked on The Return of the Living Dead, the original.
Okay.
Okay, keep going, guys. I'll be right back. Oh.
Wow.
So yeah,
Keep talking.
he does have quite. Let's have a look, Steve Walsh. Let's have a look. He created a horror film called Muck.
Mock.
Then he created a film called Living Dead Presents Fog City. So he's got like history within the world of the zombie genre.
These are sorry. These are all films that he's co-wrote.
Yeah, that's his filmography of films that he's kind of worked on.
See, like I said, I've seen the '85 Return of the Living Dead, but I didn't know what he had. Well, I figured he might have co-wrote it, but I didn't know he did some other ones stuff.
And the original introduced us to a zombie character known as the Tall Man.
Oh, okay.
And if you watch the teaser trailer, Walter, you hear like a Christmas theme. You see this mysterious zombie-like figure pulling a Christmas tree with lights on, and then it goes black.
I'm gonna have to look that up. That's got it.
Yeah. If you get the opportunity, check out the trailer. It's and it kind of sets the tone of, I guess, what we're in for the next film.
Well, the guy who did the original Return of the Living Dead, the '85 film, fighting in that to me right there, how going to be playing out in terms of good, because it's like he's retroacting, something, but it's as Sci-Fi mentioned, it's not a rehash. It's a sequel to the events that happened in that film. So that's gonna be kind of clever, because I would love to see what happens after the fact of what went down, because if we remember, yeah, they blew up the place, they blew up the city, but as it shows, it didn't really do anything,
Yep, zombie films have been done to death, but they kind of came back into popularity thanks to the Walking Dead television show, and then everyone and their mother decided to create a zombie film or create a zombie show. You had Black Summer, you had that other one, there was another show. It's like the go-to, but like we could say this about superhero films, they've been done to death. We could say it about slasher films, how many murderer films, how many Scream films do we need, how many Saw films do we need. It's just the case of just recycling things that everyone knows. Like, as me and Walter are huge fans of kaiju, and we are kaiju film fanatics. So you could say, how many fucking kaiju films do we need? And I'm going to say I need them all.
Right? Because they're not they're not in abundance. Zombie films are in abundance. It's like maybe a vampire film or even werewolves, but kaijus are not as much.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of The Walking Dead. I had a couple of the graphic novels, and the beautiful thing about the show, it kind of it pasted the stories from the comics to screen really well, and then it just went stupid. And my favorite storyline and my favorite part of the show was when it got up to the prison and the governor. Once you left the governor and all that story arc ended, and it was heading towards the Negan or the Negan storyline, for me personally, that's when it started to drift away and I lost interest. But hey ho. And now what's happened with The Walking Dead? Even the original writer, he suddenly ended the comic book like overnight. He said, writing the franchise the fuck out of my comic book. They're just taking it too far. You've got The Walking Dead, you've got the Fear of the Walking Dead, you had The Walking Dead Beyond, then you had Walking Dead, Dead City, you've got then Daryl Dixon. It's just been franchised, and it's kind of took the fun out of what he had created, which is what he thought. So I think it was 2 years ago, just as a new show was about to end, it was suddenly announced that the original creator, The Walking Dead, was ending this comic there and then.
And just to throw this out real quick, before we just add on something, did any of y'all watch any of the Resident Evil films? You know, when they were out, because it deals with zombie type creatures.
Yeah, well, give it a matter of time, they'll fucking reboot it. Well, they kind of technically tried because they had the Raccoon City series on Netflix.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I
So
only,
they
saw, I
kind of
only saw
ended.
one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Kevin. I just saw
No.
1, 2, and 3, which to me are the most favorite. Those are my favorite ones, especially Apocalypse, because they had the beautiful Sienna Gallery as Jill Valentine. So
I
that
think they
one
ended the
was
films and then they thought, right, and we've done what we can with the films. Everything's about streaming now, so why don't we test the Resident Evil films and put them out there as a streaming television series, which it had one series, and I believe the series was a big fail, so it's not being renewed and it's been cancelled by Netflix. What's your opinion of this one, Walter?
Of this new Living Dead film.
No. What is the question?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Woman. Yes, it is. Yes.
Only if I can get a wetsuit and a flashlight. Yeah.
Okay. No, that's.
Are you going fishing?
That is a kaiju. Yeah. I'm sorry, it is a kaiju. Now, if they made her a little bigger in height, I mean, I would like that even more, you know. But no, that is a kaiju. I mean, it's crazy. As insane as that film is, that is a kaiju. Just like the Amazing Colossal Man, that's a kaiju also. You know. Yeah.
I've never heard of that one, but I know about the 50. I know the 50-foot woman.
Wait a minute, y'all. Wait a minute. Whoa, back. No, back. Back that up. Some people gave me grief for not seeing the creature from the Black Lagoon, but you never heard of the Amazing Colossal Man?
Nope.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. The only colossal man that I know of is you, Walt. That's the only beautiful colossal man that I know.
Well,
of.
I'm
I've never seen that.
Chocolate. Because this is I was gonna say this is pure 50s sci-fi gold. I mean, it's up there with the rest of all those large kaiju size creatures back in the day. So I'm just like, yep. Wow, that's okay. I mean, hey,
obviously not in movies. Nobody bombs nothing anymore. Nobody just
that's
moves the motherfucking
Why don't you just blow the hell out of
it? Now this one.
Okay, that's the sequel to The Amazing Colossal Man. Yes.
Oh well, you see, I've heard of that one.
Mm-hmm. Now, why is that one particular is more popular than The Amazing? Because I would think that it's Well,
what does that remind
you? We're younger than you, Walt.
Huh?
What does that remind you of? Everybody thinks more about the War of the Gargantuans than Frankenstein conquers the world. It's a similar situation.
Maybe that's the craze because, let's face it, War of the Colossal Man is, like I say, it's a sequel, but yes, it's kind of it is kind of more popular than the Amazing Colossal Man because we think he died in that film, but apparently he died. He came back, and that's crazy.
So the next film on my list.
You know what? Now, you want to take this sci-fi? Maybe you got a better point of saying something.
So when I watched the trailer, and obviously the way I look at it, this is my opinion. Mm-hmm. So I love the original 3 films. First one, second one, third one. The new Karate Kid was okay. the one with Jackie Chan, I haven't actually watched, but now that this is coming out, I'm gonna have to watch it. And out of all the original films, the second one's my absolute favorite. I love the second one. I love the original. I love the concept. I love the idea of this, kung fu master teaching this young troubled boy, teenager, lessons in life, giving him advice through karate, discipline, and basically teaching him, things that he can carry with him for the rest of his life. Love it, love it, love it. Then Cobra Kai comes along. Cobra Kai started off as this nostalgic ride. Then the last couple of series, it just feels like it's went down the soap opera route. Like too over the top, too trying to be like this 80s, like kind of, nostalgia ride. But when I seen the trailer for this, it looks very much more of a serious toned film. And it feels to me it's going back to formula of what the original Karate Kid was, and that's why I'm very interested in this, because I am a fan of this franchise. For me, you've got the Rocky films, which is up there, which is about a guy who's busting his ass, becomes a world championship boxer. For me, the Karate Kid is about a teenager learning lessons in life. So I really have a good connection in like similar vibes with both of them. They've both been franchises throughout my life that I've thoroughly enjoyed, and I've learned bits and pieces along the way of both of them. But that's just my take. It looks like it's more serious toned, and it's going back to what the original film was in terms of tone, story, and that's what I enjoy about it. Mr. Walter Ross. Oh,
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Sci-fi. Unless Sci-fi wants to
Sci-fi, yeah. I was gonna say it because he needs to say it.
Well, I'm just confused now because is Jackie Chan Mr. Miyagi?
No,
He's not.
that was the
Okay,
beauty of
okay.
the reboot, because they never called him Mr. Miyagi. He's called Mr. Han.
Oh, okay. So this is okay, yeah, because that's what I wanted to clear up. That's what I wanted to clear up. So it's not Mr. Miyagi's. So okay, so that's what I'm glad about that. But now they're bringing that film in, and actually the thing that just gets me, I'm not like I'm not how do you say, putting any gasoline on Jackie Chan, but Jackie Chan is not a karate guy. He's a kung fu guy. And he
Yeah.
knows kung fu, but I know probably for the film, he's like, okay, well, it's not too hard for a master like him to learn the basics of
If you
karate.
watch the trailer, there's a quote that's said in the trailer, and it's about the fact one's about karate, one's about kung fu. And there's a scene in the trailer. There is two branches that make a tree. Kung fu
Okay.
and karate. So
Okay,
you need to check the
yeah, so
trailer
yin
out.
and yang. Yeah, yin and yang. Yin and yang, Jackie
Yeah,
Chan,
right.
kung fu, Ralph Macchio, karate.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah. Well,
And
okay, then I'm not so bad. It's not so bad. Then.
with me not watching the reboot, I was like, you, how can they have him in if he's Mr. Miyagi? But how they got away with it is they hinted at it like a Mr. Miyagi in apparently the reboot, but they never showed him. They just hinted that there was a Mr. Miyagi and then you've got Mr. Han, who is Jackie Chan's character. Now, somehow, Mr. Han and Daniel LaRusso have to come together and join forces to work together to teach this new character, this young boy. But when you look at the young boy, he looks to me like he's going to be some sort of relation to Mr. Miyagi. And if you're following the storyline in Cobra Kai, they've got 5 episodes left that's coming out in February. I genuinely believe this is whatever happens at the end of this Cobra Kai, there's going to be a reveal that's going to lead into this film.
and that's the thing.
Yeah.
I know they got season 6 up, and I haven't watched them. Come tomorrow. I'm gonna binge watch all of them because I want to stay. I want to catch up because that's when I saw the trailer for this. I say it's like, is this going to be kind of connected to this? But you just said that they're going to have 5 more episodes of Cobra Kai coming in February,
Mhm.
so I need to catch up with that just to see if it's going to connect to all of that.
Yes. So even if you look at the poster, look at Jackie Chan, look at Daniel LaRusso, but if you look at the child, it's his first starring role, but apparently this actor is an actual fully trained young martial artist. So he's definitely going to have the ability to deliver. For me, he looks like Mr. Miyagi.
Mm.
And you know what? Like, don't keep it there. Keep it there. Put it back. Let me just let you guys know, since I am also a former martial artist, that belt in the middle is not a traditional karate belt. That's actually karate kung fu style. That's
Well,
a
the
that's a
young,
that's a Chinese style kung fu attire.
Mhm. Well, the actor that's playing the young martial artist there, he's called Ben Wang, and he's playing a character called Li Fong.
Li Fong, yeah, that's
And
Chinese.
yeah.
Mhm.
And I'll just read a little bit about it. So, The Karate Kid Legends is an upcoming American martial arts drama film directed by Jonathan Entwistle and written by Rod Leiber, featuring a storyline placed 3 years after the event of Cobra Kai's final season. It is the 6th film in the Karate Kid franchise. Following The Karate Kid 2010, it stars Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio, both reprising their roles from previous films, while introducing Ben Wang as the main lead for his debut, alongside Joshua Jackson, Sadie Stanley, and Ming-Na Wen. It is the first film in the series not to be produced by Jerry Wentenberg, who died in 2015.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
So I don't think this film would have happened if they called Jackie Chan Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I think they were quite smart, because I think they thought, right, we'll hint at a Mr. Miyagi, we'll not let you be Mr. Miyagi. And also I think it was for the legacy of Pat, what's his surname? Who
Marita.
was
Pat Marita, yeah.
Yeah, I think around the time they were doing that movie, I don't know if he had died or if he was ill, and I think it was a way of keeping his legacy alive by not having him be Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
A bit like Carrie Fisher. You can't see anybody be Princess Leia.
No.
So, when you think of Princess Leia, you think of Carrie Fisher. When you think of Mr. Miyagi, you think of him.
Yep. You think of Harrison Ford, you think of Han Solo and Indiana Jones.
Yes.
So,
The other
It's kind of
one,
like going back to what Wesley Snipes says in Deadpool films. Like, it's only been one blade. It's only going to be every one blade. So it's like you can only
Well, you've asked the question, and as you know, the studios that own the Karate Kid franchise, they have now stated that the original Karate Kid, the reboot, Cobra Kai, and this new film, they're all part of a shared universe now. Because everything has to be a fucking universe. And the universe is called the Miyagi-verse.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm. And
Cool.
because they have created a series called the Miyagi-verse, apparently the next show that they're working on Netflix is a Mr. Miyagi prequel show.
Oh my god.
okay, this is the first I'm hearing of that.
Yeah. I mean,
It's on its way, kids.
Yeah, I mean, we as people, we as being as old as we are, us being older, Mr. Miyagi was an inspiration to all of us in one way or another. Watching Karate Kid and reminding us, some of us, of our grandfathers, of our fathers, of people we looked up to, and people we thought that gave us purpose and taught us about how life is, how the world is, and of course that's always going to be that. But why? That's just, I don't know, like prequel to a Miyagi. It's like, I don't know, man. It's just they
Because
have
he
to
was
come
in the
up,
war, so it might show you him in the war, or when he just leaves the war and how he's building his life after the war. It might also show you him where he has his big fallout back home, which causes the rift between him and the man he considered a brother.
Yeah.
This
Oh yeah,
it might, it could show many things, like an old enemy that we don't know about, you know.
Sato.
But
Sato. Yeah,
I'll
I
be
think.
honest, I am looking forward to, yeah, like a young Sato, yeah, and show to how they fell out over the falling of the love of that woman. Uh,
Hmm.
so there's one more film we need to talk about, and I think it's a film that's going to divide the audience. And for me, this, for a lot of people, and I think all eyes are on it, is the most anticipated film of 2025. Yes,
Superman.
which originally had the title Superman Legacy, but they've taken that off, which I'm kind of happy about.
Really?
Hmm.
So I want to know your overall thoughts, because I've did my trailer reaction. I've told you what I think. I said in my trailer reaction, I think there's three camps. Camp number one, the Snyder fans that are full of negativity. No matter what they do, they're gonna fucking be so negative and boo it out the park. I don't listen to negativity. Forget about them.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna have the fans that have seen this trailer and they'll be like, we've got James Gunn in charge, we've got one face, one direction, one person running the show. There's no, we're going to have some consistency. We're going to have, one direction, whether it fails or succeeds. They can say, with respect, he gave it his damn best shot. So you've
Yeah.
got a lot of people in the second camp, which is the camp of hope, and are excited. Then the third camp is my camp. In my camp is, I'm bang in the middle. The trailer looks interesting. I saw some things I enjoyed, but I've seen a lot of things that I've seen before. And as I said in my trailer reaction, for me, it looks like a very much big budgeted version of a CW show. Younger versions
Oh,
of the
okay.
characters. We've had that before in Smallville. We've had an in his 30s Superman, I guess, with Brandon Roth for Superman Returns.
Yep.
That new show that's just ended, is it Superman and Lois, which apparently has
Lois.
been getting amazing reviews. Apparently it's amazing. I've never seen it. So, what is your opinion, Mr. Walter Ross, of what you've seen so far?
Well, I saw I just see stills of this with the actor who's playing Superman in his attire, and I was going to do a reaction to it myself, you know, to say give my 2 cents on it, but well, fortunately or unfortunately, depends on your point of view. I saw the trailer in the theater, so in a way, I think I got a more robust viewing of what I saw in there. But from my take on it, it's kind of like with you. You're kind of in the middle. I'm kind of that way too. I'm looking forward to it. I just have a few gripes about the costume itself because yes, it's comic book accurate, you know, But the thing about it is the way it looks, it's like I say, okay, this doesn't look like it's actually fitting him, especially the red part, the short part. It's like, I don't think that looks too good on him. But I've been told from a reliable source that this suit is actually made up of different other part suits from the past. So maybe that's what it is. That's why it's being brought to light, to me, that shows right there somebody who knows about the DC universe pretty well, just like you sci-fi know about the Marvel universe real well. This person knew about the DC universe and about the suits and different ways that it's portrayed. So all I can say is that hopefully when I go into, because James Gunn, damn good filmmaker, he's a damn good writer. He does movies pretty well. I'll say this: if it does what it's supposed to do, which I feel that it will, I'm gonna be there for it. But if it falls flat, not by what critics say, anybody else, I ain't worried about word of mouth. I got to go in it with my own two eyes and say that, okay, if this is going to be good, it's going to be good. But if it turns out that it's like, it's kind of lackluster, it's like, all right, I gave it a shot. It went there, and if it does well, great. If it doesn't, well, hey, this means that it wasn't meant to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Missed
mean,
that. Missed that Sci-Fi Sentry.
um, I'm all in it because of Crypto, the dog. I'm all. You guys know how much of an animal lover I am, but I mean, I'm all in it because I love that part when he's whistling. And what is he whistling at? And I'm like,
Right.
oh, and then I see it. I'm like, and right away when I see like freaking like snow going crazy, like, oh, it has to be him. It has to be him. And then once he shows up, I'm like, oh, hell yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, I love that because I'm not like Walter said, I'm not much into DC, and it's not that I don't like Superman. I really do like Superman, but in the Snyderverse, I'm just gonna bring this up. In the Snyderverse, they gave him too much of a god complex.
Yes.
They gave him too much. They gave him too much of a god complex where he's pretty much invulnerable to anything, even to other superheroes. So but now when I saw parts of the trailer where he's actually bleeding and he's beat up and this and that, I'm like, and then he has to ask Crypto, he has to ask his dog to take him home. I'm like that's what I like because they're showing him that he can be vulnerable, that he is not he is super powerful, but he's not totally invincible. So that's what I like about it. But as far as the suit, I don't care, man. Is as far as it being Superman, if it's a good film, I'll watch it. If it's a good film, I'll watch it, especially because of Crypto, because I'm an animal lover, huge animal lover. So yeah, I was already sold. I was already sold on him being in the movie when he went to go pick up Superman. So okay, cool. So yeah, I'm sold on that. But I mean, of course, I'm always gonna love the first one. First, Superman 1 and Superman 2, my favorites, man. The Quest for Peace, but um, but Superman 1 and 2, man, like the 70s, Christopher Reeve, and those are my films, man. I did like Superman Returns. It wasn't bad. I didn't think it was that bad, Superman Returns. But the Man of Steel was good too. I'm not gonna say it's not bad. I mean, I'm not gonna kiss no Snyderverse fucking elitist ass either. I did like Henry Cavill as Superman, but
I
it's
like
just
Man of Steel.
I'm not.
I
Yeah, it's
think
not
out
bad. I
of
mean,
all the
but like I
films
said,
that Snyder did for the Snyderverse, I think that was my favorite.
Mhm.
I mean, it's good. I mean, it is good. I just like I said, I'm not into DC. I'm not big. If it's not Batman, Superman, if it's not Batman and Superman, the ones that I will know, or Wonder Woman, then I mean, I'm not. Aquaman was cool. The first Aquaman movie was good, but as far as that, I'm if it's good, I'll watch it. As far as that, because I'm not into DC,
Yeah,
but if it's good,
I personally I think the only thing I worry about is when he did the Snyderverse. So he tried to do a different formula to what Kevin Feige did with Marvel. He gave every one of the Marvel heroes their own separate films with little bits of hints with the post-credit scenes that they were all connected, and then it was all built up. And then he built the whole world around it. What Snyder did is he wanted all of them to be on your face in the same movie all at the time, straight away. And I think because he did that, there was just too much confusion. There was too much going on. There was no build up. They were just there. And if you look at this new film, you've got, which has been mentioned in the comments, you've got the Hawkman in it. You've got the Green Lantern in it. You've got a kaiju in it. You've got Lex Luthor in it. You've got some sort of outer space entity in it. So I just hope he's not doing the same as Snyder and giving her too much straight away. That straight away it's going to put a bad taste in the mouth of the fans leading into this new DCU.
Yeah, and then I think it was Hawk Girl. I think it was Hawk Girl, Hawk Woman. I don't think it was Hawk Man. I think it was Hawk. I think it was a girl. I might be wrong. I mean, yeah, I might be wrong, but I think it was a. What do you guys think? Do you think it was a Hawk Woman or a Hawk Girl?
I think it was a Hawk woman.
I'm pretty Hawk Girl, but I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it could be wrong.
I mean, I mean, I'm like with Kevin, like not too much at the beginning, but then again to make it interesting, and the Green Lantern being why would they do that? But I think he's trying to do it differently, where he's trying to add it to make it more, to make it a little more fun, and then you know, Green Lantern. If that's the Green Lantern, I don't think it's the Green Lantern because I think it was just his ring that's being used by someone else or someone evil. But I mean, that's what I think. But I mean, I did see that, and I did see Hawk Woman.
It's like they're frightened to do what Marvel did. It's like they're frightened for someone to go, you're copying Marvel, you're doing solo films before you do a team up movie. At the end of the day, I couldn't give a shit as long as it's great storytelling with the characters and it's done right and you're focusing on one character at a time, building them up, building their own personalities, their own, uniqueness about them, and then you do the team up right at the end in like an event in a Justice League type movie. I couldn't give a shit if you do it that way because it's gonna work. The fact that he's got all these characters and the trailer just looked like there was a lot going on. I don't know if it's going to put a lot of people off because Snyder did it, and look where that turned out. So, like I say, you're gonna have the three camps. The Snyder fans are going to turn on it. You're gonna have those that have got hope. Then you've got me, you, and I'm assuming Walter, 50-50 in the middle.
Yeah.
And just to throw this out real quick, it's kind of ironic because James Gunn and Zack Snyder actually worked together on a film before, so to see their displacements on how they do things is, kind of ironic. But I mean, it's funny that they're both working on they're both working in the DCU, but how James Gunn is going to do this film, in a sense, justice, we won't know until it comes out. But in the end, it's all about, as you say, Kevin, it's all about story. I don't give a damn about what this is. I'm just like, if the story's good, great. But if it leaves, put it like this, if it leaves me limp, I'm out of it. Just saying.
So, Jake Hall, yep, Green Lantern's in it. Then apparently you've got these characters in it.
Yeah.
Mr. Terrific and Mr.
Metamorpho.
Apparently you've also got Supergirl in it.
Oh yeah, Supergirl. Yeah,
wow.
Supergirl's in here.
and then you've got Hawk Girl in it. But this is a very fun fact.
Is Superman in it?
It's that's a good
I
question.
agree. It's looking that way. It's looking way too bloated, just like
Yeah,
Justice League was.
that's the problem.
Yeah, it is. I mean, yeah,
So
it's. I
we've
agree.
talked about yeah, we've talked about what films of 2024, and we've talked a little bit about things to come in 2025. As you can tell, I'm losing my voice, so I think it's time to wrap this thing up. But I just wanted to say to my two good friends, thank you for joining me tonight. I've had a blast as always. You are my people. You're my chosen family. Um, like I said before, like when we first started, 2024 has been a mixed year for me. There's been good things, there's been bad things, there's been some indifferent things. The films of 2024 have been either meh or we've had two or three shining lights. But Hollywood seems to be on the same trajectory it's been on for quite some time, which is not looking good. So let's just hope, that 2025 is a more prosperous year for Hollywood. There's been a lot of flops. The Crow, Borderlands, films that they thought were going to do really well have not succeeded or have been underwhelming. Even The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes didn't do what they were hoping. Ferosa, a Mad Max story. So all I can say is hopefully 2025 is going to be a better year. For everybody watching, thank you for watching and tuning in. I just want to say to you all, I wish you all the very best in 2025. I wish us all a healthy but prosperous 2025. Um, uh, yes, thank you very much. It's my pride and joy.
Yeah.
Of course, Mr. Daniel won't be getting that sent to him any soon, Mr. Sci-Fi Sentry.
Oh, hey, hey, man, hey, you alright? I know how much you love it, man. I'm not like DJ Anubis who wants everybody's everything.
But is there anything you'd like to see, Mr. Walter Ross and
Yeah,
Sci-Fi to end this?
I think you pretty much wrapped it up. I mean, I've said my goodbyes to 24 because this has been a hellacious year, whether it be in politics, what's what, and films. But the end result is that doesn't mean we can't start off fresh with a new year. So all I'll say is, whilst watching, just as I always say, just stay calm, be patient, and always keep that kaiju love alive no matter what. It's up.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Sci-Fi Century.
Um, like I said, 2024 was a very rough year for me, but it was also a very fulfilling year as far as living my dream of going to Tokyo, Japan, going to Toho Studios, enjoying the love of enjoying the city of Tokyo and Japan as itself is something I'm never gonna forget. And then going through the hardships, going through the mental health issues, going through the pain, going through the physical issues, but there are, like Kevin said, there are bright lights, meeting my girlfriend and having you guys always, part of my life and us keeping us together, keeping everything going, the Sci-Fi Society, the Metal Tavern, Entertainment Headquarters, and everyone that's a part of our groups and everything. And yeah, I mean, I I'm really looking forward to 2025, but I'm also, you know, having to get that fortitude and physical mental fortitude to take it on with everything that comes in my life, that comes in the pain, comes with the losses, comes with the greatness, but also comes with the good parts of life. And I'm just, to everyone who struggles through everything throughout this year, man, we can try to see, we can try to restart, try to focus, overcome. What do I always say, guys? We overcome and we move forward, and we're all gonna try to do for 2025. And I mean, I'm staying retro, man. Like, hopefully, if Hollywood does decide to make better movies, then good. If not, I always go back to the good stuff. But that's as far as me, man. I mean, let's take on 2025 together, and never be afraid to mention, never be afraid to be yourselves, never be afraid to to admit and throw out there that we all have issues, mental health, physical health, spiritual, everything. Just always be yourselves and just fight, keep fighting, keep moving forward, man. As hard as it has been for me and a lot of people, we just got to keep moving forward. That's it.
Yes, couldn't agree more. What really well said. As for me in the entertainment headquarters, I next year am gonna try and kind of cut back maybe a little on me content, because this is my first full year as a content creator, and I think I went balls to the wall. But I need to look after me first. I come first, because without me, there cannot be no channel. So looking after my health, looking after my mental health as well. And with that said, I'm looking forward to a healthier, more prosperous 2025. Now, to come in the new year on the channel in January, I do have my my top 10 of 2024 to come. So some of the films I've discussed may be on that list. I know on the 17th of January, we have the next Into the Darkness horror franchise discussion, which is going to be The Grudge.
Ooh.
Yes, in the next retro classic movie show, which does not have a date yet, will be the film The 13th Warriors with Antonio Banderas.
Ooh.
Yes. And finally,
I'll
coming,
jump
I
on
think
that
you're more than welcome.
Yeah.
You guys don't need an invitation. If you want on, just let me know. And
Yeah.
the 31st of January will be the next classic kaiju review, part of Kaiju Connections. It is the audience choice winner, and it will be the giant behemoth.
Mhm.
So that's just a few things to look forward to in the new year, coming to the entertainment headquarters. But everyone who's watched, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for interacting with us. We love it when you interact. We love when you take part in these streams, because it makes it a hell of a lot more fun. But like I always say, keep on enjoying your movies. Keep on enjoying all things entertainment. We'll catch us all at the next one.